My wife is upset our kids don't give her gifts. So I told her why.
No gifts for you.
My wife is a great mother in many ways, and I love her dearly. But she is crap at getting gifts. Back when we were dating, when I rang her doorbell with a dozen roses, she opened the door and immediately said, "You can't afford that." This, I'm afraid, is fairly typical of her response when given anything. Not even strained politeness, but usually a directly negative response. By the way, this comes from Silas of the Lambs. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
And I'm Vincent.
And we are here to give some good advice, goofily. But we don't have all the answers. We only tell you what we would do in this situation, but we would love to know what you would do in the comments. As OP says, it's hard for me. My family are big gift givers, but I'm an adult and I love her enough to find other ways to show it. So on birthdays, I buy her the exact thing she requests, and other times I just restrain myself entirely. Our kids, 5 male, 2 female, though, lack this perspective. They do what kids do. Look, Mommy, I found you this stick in the yard for you. They find her response to this as demoralizing as I do. I work nights and sleep in late. I woke up this morning to a text to the effect that she had asked the kids to make her a card for Mother's Day, and they responded with great enthusiasm that they wanted to make them for my mother. The long-standing tension between wife and mother is largely outside the scope of this post, but it is sadly quite severe. Which partly explains why this bothered her as much as it clearly did. She thinks the fact that the kids prefer their grandma is my fault. I didn't point it out in the moment for obvious reasons, and I ultimately pestered the kids into making her cards. Kids' scribbles that I helped them sign their names to. But would I be the a-hole if I found a good moment to remonstrate with her? To explain that the reason nobody wants to give her nice things is because she habitually craps all over any she gets that she didn't pick out herself in advance? And that my mom always shows enthusiasm and delight in every bunch of dandelions or lump of dirt she gets, so the kids naturally think of her when they think of giving nice things to people. And there is an edit. I'm getting predictably dragged for my handling of Mother's Day. I will provide some background. For years, we have had a pattern. After numerous abortive attempts to surprise her with gifts, with dates or outings, with meals I made, and so on, I have largely given up on creativity. So for birthdays, for Christmas, for Mother's Day, and so on, what I do is I ask her what she wants, and then I do that. So earlier this week, I asked her what she'd like to do for Mother's Day. She sort of snorted and said nothing. Then a couple of days later, she said that what she wanted for Mother's Day was to get her and the kids dressed up nice and have me take a picture, as opposed to having anybody else come by to take it. She's on the extra cautious end of pandemic preparedness. I said I'd help with that, but asked her to remember that I was working overnight and would be asleep for much of the morning. She has a favorite candy bar that she always places on the grocery list whenever I go. I do most of our shopping. I bought her a bunch of them on the last trip, but held out one to save for Mother's Day. Last night, since I wouldn't be up, I gave it to the kids to give to her. All very secretive and hush-hush. They enjoyed the conspiracy and ran into the room with big smiles on their faces to give it to her. She, however, was disposed to inform them that she had already had one that day. She put it casually to the side. She wasn't mean, just disinterested and tactless. I guess the kids pretty much shrugged it off. I work all night. I go to sleep at 9 a.m. I wake up at 2 p.m. I read this text described above. I get up and go downstairs and convince the kids to draw cards on some paper. I raise the family photo she asked about. She doesn't want to. Maybe I'm clumsy. Maybe I'm doing a bad job adjusting to her love language. Certainly, I'm not the kind of mind reader it would take to know I was supposed to ignore her stated preference about how to mark the day. But kindly do not accuse me of not trying. Edit 2. Thanks everyone for the insight and candid responses, although my judgment, which apparently the community supports, is that my wife is in the wrong here. I want to make it absolutely clear that she is an amazing and capable mother. If our kids, one of whom has serious chronic health issues, survive to adulthood, her meticulous, detail-oriented, and thorough approach to life and parenting will be a big reason why. We're looking at the flip side of that here, and most of us are in agreement it's a problem. But it's only a problem, not an indication that she's a horrible, harmful wife and mother. She makes our children feel loved and safe and special every single day in a dozen different ways. No argument. She/we might need counseling, though. It is my view that substantially the entire human race could benefit from some professional counseling. Smiley face. And now there is an update. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
yeah, I agree with that. Like, most of the human race should go to counseling. And
yeah.
that, like, even if it's like, I think there's that stigma of like, oh, if you go to therapy, there's something wrong with you. It's like, no, it's just examining who you are and how you've become who you are. And a lot of it's about your parents.
A lot of it about your parents. Is that just
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of it is about your parents. I think that there's not. I don't. Like, as you said, I don't think she's a bad person. I think the way that she perceives gifts might be from something that has happened in her past, maybe, that has, like, made her think of gift giving as, like a negative thing for some reason. Because I know some people who, like, don't like receiving gifts. They're like, no, like, I don't, like, I had a professor once who, like, did not want us to, like, do anything for his birthday and everything. And I remember him, like, specifically telling me, like, no, I don't want anything for my birthday. I don't like my birthday, all this stuff. And then my friends came in there because we had, like, we were in a play at one time and he was directing it, and they came in with, like, a cake, like, happy birthday, blah, blah. And I was like, no. And he was like fine with it. He wasn't like, I hate this or whatever, but he was just like, oh, thanks, And I was like, oh, sorry, he doesn't like that. And I should have relayed the message. But, like, there's some people who just, like, don't accept things in, like, a positive way. Like, they might take it as, like, a personal attack, or they might take it as, well, that's not what I wanted. Like, there's many different ways why people react the way that they do. I'm not going to go into the whole psychology behind it, but I'm thinking that maybe there's a reason behind why she is the way that she is in terms of, like, getting and receiving things.
Yeah.
All right, and there is an update. A few days after posting that, my wife and I were sitting on the couch, and I piped up and said this: I think you should try to be more enthusiastic when the kids give you things. I didn't bring up the previous argument, and on the wise advice of many people in the other thread, I didn't bring up my mother. That was literally all I had to say, although I was ready with follow-up. She said, yeah, I've kind of been thinking about that. I should show more appreciation. I thanked her for receiving it that way, and we went about our respective business. So that was that. I've been watching to see if she meant it, and there has been a huge improvement. Just this week, 5 Male made her something out of Legos. She says, thank you, I love that you're so creative. Even when 2 Female brought her the blanket from her own bed, the kids are not allowed to mess with our bed without us. She said, thanks, now I could be snuggly, but remember, you're not supposed to do that. She mostly remembers to do this on her own, although a couple times I gave her a look. By the way, you can remember to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and just search OK Storytime. There is a little bit left, but let's do a little chit-chat.
I mean, I don't know if there's much to chit-chat about. Like, oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, seems like she made the change, and she also realized it, which is great on her part, because a lot of people sometimes don't realize it, and then it becomes a huge, like, defensive fight of, like, why are you coming for me? Like, what did I do? No, I don't do that, But he's just like, hey, I think you should show a little more appreciation to, the kids than,
Yeah, she took the note.
Yeah, and she was like, honestly, yeah, I agree. It's like, boom. Sometimes it works. Other times it could tragically fail.
You know what?
But that time it worked.
Yeah, I think we all learned.
What?
Just gotta say thanks for the sticks.
You just gotta say thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We said that at the same time. That was awesome.
That's great. She's not good at it, to be honest. Her attempts are uniformly pretty unconvincing to me, but they seem to be convincing to the kids, who smile and laugh and sometimes come tell me about it from my position 5 feet away. Daddy, I gave Mom a blanket and she can be snuggly, but I forgot about I'm not supposed to do that. 2 Female is big on long run-on sentences, which I'm pretty sure she gets from me. But anyway, wife is trying and she's being quite consistent, and maybe actual skill in it will come with time. So thank you all for the good advice on abstracting the general problem from the specific dispute involving the mother-in-law, and for all your kind support. Thanks even to the individual who's 100% we're going to get divorced. We're not, though. We can work through stuff and become stronger as a couple together. That's the end. I refused to give my daughter's stuff to my sister, and it made her furious.
Just give her the stuff. Come on.
I'm 33, and my husband and I have 2 kids. 8 male and 7 female. We didn't plan on having them back to back, but it happened.
Oh,
My husband got a vasectomy and we're set.
snip, snip.
By the way, this comes from Internal Soup 906, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I am Savannah Claus.
I'm Riley, Elf.
Oh, I'm Vincent. I'm still new here. Hey.
I'm still new. And we are here to give you some good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We would only tell you what we would do in this situation, but we would love to know what you would do. As OP says, when I was pregnant with our son, we were living in a rented 2-bedroom house and decorated the nursery with olive and wood tones. That sounds so pretty. We kept it the same when we had our daughter and just made room for the baby. When our son was 6 and our daughter was 5, my husband got a big promotion at work that allowed us to look for and buy a 4-bedroom forever home. Since it was permanent, we thought it'd be fun to give the kids themed rooms. We asked them each what they wanted. Our son picked dinosaurs. My husband likes to joke that we have a mini Ross on our hands. So we did a wilderness theme. My daughter picked Aurora, so we did a fairy tale theme. We went all out since these would be their bedrooms until they were teens, and we gave the nursery furniture away since we were done having kids. We asked our families first, but none of them were planning kids at the time, so it went to friends. Presently, my sister is 21 weeks pregnant with a baby girl, their first.
Aw.
She was over at our place and said she was leaning towards something like my daughter's room for the nursery. But nursery stuff is expensive. I told her she should go with neutral tones since it'll be used a lot, as they want a big family. She was like, nah, I want theme ones for each baby like you did with my kids' names.
Oh.
I raised my eyebrows because that's going to be expensive, but nodded because who am I to talk when I kind of did the same. We continued chatting for a while, and she grabbed my laptop and started going through the website I used and complained again. So I suggested that she put some of the reasonably priced stuff on her baby shower list. She gave a non-committal hum and then said that I could give her some stuff as well. I was confused because I thought she meant the old nursery, and I reminded her that we gave it away. She shook her head and told me she meant stuff from our daughter's room. I asked her what she meant because she's using that room. It's not like she doesn't live in it. She waved her hand and said it wasn't a big deal and that we could part with a few things.
Dude, I don't get it.
I feel bad. I feel bad for OP. Because
Yeah?
it's like, I get that, like, you know, their family and, you know, family always expects, like, you just provide for each other and
That
are
is
always
true.
there for each other and whatnot. But then, like, the child lives in that room. So they are using all of this stuff in the room, I'm guessing. So I don't understand why you would ask for, oh, I need that for my daughter.
But the kids now are like teenagers, and I thought they already gave all the nursery stuff away.
Yeah, they did. That's why she's like, I want the stuff that you have now.
Oh.
I don't know why.
That's
Because like that, I don't know. I feel like a newborn wouldn't need the stuff of like an
Rude.
8-year-old.
That's entitled.
It is
Yeah. It's kind of
Yeah.
icky.
Literally taking furniture from a child. That's crazy. I asked her what she thought we could part with, and she casually said stuff like the drapes, a lamp, the mirror, etc.
Stop. What?
You're taking the whole room from this child? What?
I'll take this and that and
Yeah,
this.
well, you don't need drapes. And this mirror, she doesn't even want to look at herself.
She probably shouldn't
Oh,
look
and
at herself.
This lamp, she doesn't need light.
Yeah, your child doesn't need privacy.
Yeah.
Dude,
What?
That's
Like, I don't
wild.
understand. I asked her sarcastically if she wanted the sheets as well, or maybe the clothes, our daughter's back. She just glared and told me I could tone down my greed and help out with this. I told her a flat no. It's unreasonable that she is even asking because she and her husband are well off just like us. It's not like she's struggling and I'm refusing to help. She told me it was different because they want a big family, so they need to save more. I told her if that's the case, then they can save by using the same nursery for every baby. She just glared again, called me a greedy witch, and left. She's not replying to my texts. And my mom called to ask me what happened because she called her to complain about me without specifying anything.
Oh, God. Just complaining. I don't understand calling people just to complain.
My mom was just as bewildered as I was when I told her. My husband thinks I'm in the right, and I do too. I'm just confused, and maybe there's something we're not seeing. Edit. Thank you, everyone, for your opinions and advice. After talking about it with my husband and my mom, I'm going to give my sister a couple of days to cool off before I try to reach out to her again. and hopefully have a conversation. You may find this naive, but all three of us agree that this isn't like her. Maybe she and her husband are going through a rough financial patch, or maybe he pulled the plug on multiple themed nurseries. Whatever it is, I'm not ready to go scorched earth and cut my sister off after one bizarre entitled demand.
That's usually what people on Reddit do. Get rid of her. Just go no contact forever.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
It's
It's a little thing. You guys can bounce back. Typical sibling rivalry.
She's still my sister, the one I grew up with, the one who held me down when I was going through stuff and kept me grounded, the one who let me nearly break her hand from squeezing too hard when I was in labor until my husband got there. All of that doesn't just go away. Oh, there's an update.
Sounds like you're just giving her reasonable advice. Hey, you're going to have a bunch of kids. They're going to be in one room, in and out for, 2 years max. It doesn't make sense to have a single nursery room dedicated for each kid. Unless you're like those Severance people. It's like, it's traumatizing for a
Unless you have an
kid.
innie and an outie.
A kid to change beds. You know how they're like weird about that? Like a child must stay in the same bed.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, yeah.
Yeah.
And people are like that now. They're like, oh, like switching out beds, like it's not gonna be like good for them. They need a
People are
stable
like that?
thing. I know like a person who is like that, who was like, oh no, they need like the bed that they're gonna be in like for the rest of their lives.
What? I thought you're supposed to have a new bed every 8 years.
Yeah.
They like want, I don't know, it's something probably with like gentle parenting or something. I don't know.
Are you
yeah.
sure?
I just,
That gentle parenting crap.
yeah, I don't agree with gentle parenting. If you do it, cool. I hope it works for you. It would never ever work for me.
What were you gonna say, Vincent?
I think they might mean more like the room that they're in. Like they should be in that one room.
Yeah,
Is
that makes
it?
sense. Like staying
Yeah.
in one room until you leave. I don't know. It sounds like you're trying to be reasonable, and your sister wants a nice time. And if she needs to express herself creatively, I don't know. She might need to think differently. Then put up a different poster for each kid that's in there for that 2 years. You get a
Put up
dinosaur
a different
one.
poster for
You get a little
each kid.
fairy one. Yeah, Oh, you get a cat.
I'm gonna cat. The update, almost 8 months later. My sister gave birth a few months back to an adorable baby girl. They're both healthy as can be and thriving. Thankfully, she wasn't having prenatal psychosis like some people were suggesting. But she and her husband were having financial problems my mom and I weren't aware of. Her mother-in-law had been having a lot of health issues and her bills were racking up. My sister and her husband had stepped in and were supporting her, which they could easily afford to do, but they had to cut back a bit on their lifestyle. I didn't reach out for a while after my unanswered calls and texts, but Mom kept being on her case, and eventually she reached out and apologized and asked to come over. She apologized again in person and told me what had been going on with her husband, her mother-in-law, his brothers, and their lack of chipping in toward their mother's care. Her outburst was out of frustration with everything going on, and she knows it wasn't fair to aim it at me. She was stressing because her husband had also been putting off nursery talk, and it's the first baby, and she wanted the best of the best for her.
Oh, got it. I see.
I get it.
Yeah, first baby struggles. I've seen some parents, they get very
Oh, for sure, yeah. And then like after like a while, they're like, "Oh God, this is
yeah.
exhausting."
By the time
to be
they're
on."
with their third kid, they're like, whatever. Have 'em."
Me, and that's how that. And here I am. I'm the third of
You're the
4.
third.
I'm the third of 4.
Where's Sydney at? Second?
She's
Fourth?
no, she's 4th. She's the last. Everyone thinks she's older than me.
Yeah, that's what they do with my brother Tate. They
Yeah.
always think he's older than me.
Yeah, she's not. She is a year younger than me. By the way, you can be our best friends if you want. You can listen to full stories just like this one. If you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or any podcast app, just type in OK Storytime and we come up. And you'll see all these wonderful, fantastic little episodes ready and at your will.
Yeah. We have like 3,000 of them by now.
That's crazy.
There's so many. I've been
And
on half
I'm
of
probably
them.
in at least 20.
Uh,
I'm making my rounds.
You're in the 35, yeah.
35. Wow.
Oh,
How
look
do you know
at
that?
you.
I'm always in the numbers.
Wow. Anyway, there's an update. Unfortunately, it's been thing after thing for her. A month after she and her husband welcomed their little girl, her mother-in-law passed away. Ugh.
Oh, wow. Oh, my
Mm.
gosh.
And a month after that, our own mom had a health scare. Ay. Thankfully, she's okay now, although it brought my sister and me closer. Well, that's good. So my sister and I are okay. My daughter's stuff is firmly hers and will always be unless she decides she's outgrown it and gives it away to whoever she wants. Yes.
Just like you did, OP.
Right. Sorry if this is all over the place. I'm just typing this out as it comes to mind since it's been months. That's the end of that story.
My ex's family thinks they should control my son's birthday, so I retaliated.
It's our birthday to control as we wish.
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Bit of context and backstory here. I have 3 kids. 1 female, 2 male, female 6, male 4, and male 1. 2 of my kids are from a previous relationship, and while things didn't work out between us for many reasons I'd rather not hash out here, I tried to co-parent peacefully for my kids' sake. By the way, this comes from Just Too Tired for It. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And we just might read it, just like this one.
Yeah.
But I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in these situations. So let us know what you would do in the comments. NOP says, for the most part, my kid's father and I do get along pretty well and make decisions regarding our kids after consulting with one another. However, when he gets around certain people, all of a sudden he has issues with everything. The main one being his brother-in-law, who sadly just has a poor view of what he thinks should happen in the world. I'm coming up on
That's such a nice way to put that.
yeah. Poor view of what he thinks should happen in the world.
Yes. Fortunately, all his thoughts are bad and wrong.
Yeah. I'm coming up on my son's 6th birthday, and I know people say the kids aren't going to remember the parties, etc. I get it. It's just for me, just as much as it is for them. I love to throw big parties to celebrate my children's milestones, especially birthdays. The smile I see on their face is my reward, my thank you, my whole world. Now, on to our issue at hand. I'm trying to plan this party, and I'm so excited for it, but I got a call this morning that my ex's brother-in-law doesn't want to drive past where they live. My ex doesn't have a car. I've never minded giving him rides to our kids' events or anything else for that matter. We've been friends since childhood. The issue is that he thinks I'm going to change the party plan or what I'm paying for our son so that his brother-in-law and his 4 kids can be happy, all while getting upset with me for saying, hey, my fiance suggested this and says that we could afford our part if you'd like to do it with us. Now he says that I'm letting my fiance run things, basically. In his eyes, I'm being pushy or an a-hole, though he didn't want to say it that way. I simply explained that he just threw in ideas that were along the lines of what I was already thinking of doing. I do work, but I have a chronic illness that keeps me from having a full-time job, so I consult with my fiance since he's helping me pay part of my things. He also helps me daily to raise these kids while my ex spends the weekends that he can with them. I don't judge him on what he can and cannot do with the time. He may have extra work or just may not have the funds to take them a weekend. I'm fine with this. I'm their mom and they're just fine with me. We will find fun things to do. But he doesn't like my fiance giving input all of a sudden because he's around his brother-in-law, yet expects me to move the party to accommodate his sister, her kids, and his brother-in-law not wanting to drive. They live in BFE, Texas.
Beefy, Texas.
Is that what it is?
No.
What does that stand for?
I'm going to say big front
Oh.
end. Big front end, Texas.
Cool.
Beaufort Ford.
There's 2 common meanings.
Oh.
First one is base flood elevation, or the second one is back 40 elsewhere or middle of nowhere.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, middle of nowhere, Texas.
If you've ever been, you know anything fun or interesting is at least an hour to 2 hours away. I currently live over an hour from them, and I don't mind driving this extra time so my kid can enjoy his day. But he really thought that I was going to change it all up so they didn't have to drive. So instead, I told them that they could throw their own party, and now he's upset about that as well. I just feel like there's no winning here with this. So a small list of things I do that isn't required of me at all. I send snacks and clothes with my kids to take to their aunt's house with them when they stay. I've gotten their kids' clothes because they were taking my kids' clothes. Oh my gosh. I've offered to help them clean their house, which I do for a living. I pick him up from where he lives and drop him off so he can spend his weekend with his kids. And when I pick up kids, I usually give him a ride home as well. I deliver medicine in the middle of the night because even though she has kids in her house, they keep no medicine or antibacterial items for cuts and scrapes.
That's insane. You don't have a medicine cabinet?
I feel like that's important.
Like, you have to drive 2 hours because
Right.
we need Neosporin.
Yeah. For our children that constantly get hurt.
And we will not be buying any
No.
after this.
No. Of course not. Why would you?
You already have it. You've got all the Neosporin in the world.
I also have to remind him that our children can't drink sodas without it physically hurting them. I have to ask them not to allow my older 2 kids, since those are the ones we share, ages 6 and 4, to be in the street where cars drive, and they clearly don't care that kids may be present because I've caught them playing in the street alone with no supervision.
That's where kids are designed to play.
Oh, man.
In the street, unsupervised.
Yep.
Let the strong survive.
Oh, gosh.
I gotta say, though, I was tickled at the thought of those kids drinking a soda and they're like, so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or they might like drink it too fast and then they're so bloated with all the carbonation and they're like,
You're like that.
my body.
Like, what was the girl who it turns into a blueberry in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah.
She gets all
I
big.
forget her
She
name.
turns into a big old blue. You know, our kids can't drink
Veronica's
soda.
the
They
one.
turn into big old blueberry people.
Yeah, come on.
We gotta
Or-
roll them out and they get all flat.
Yeah, or it, like the drink that Charlie drank where he starts floating with all the carbonation and he has
Yeah.
to burp to get himself
They
down.
make our kids sick with floating disease.
When they're out in the middle of the street, I can't catch them. There's no ceiling out there. They just go up and up.
It's really hard. It's hard to be a parent this day and age.
My mom has given him rides, paid for his hotel, etc. before. I do all the party planning, buy all the food, make the cake and frosting myself. I buy extra gifts every year just in case he ends up with a small check and he can claim that they're from him. I'm happy to do this so our kids just see happy parents and a happy child. That's all I really want. And all I really want is for you to listen to full episodes with stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever favorite podcast app you choose. Just search OK Storytime.
Yeah.
There is a little bit more to the story, but yeah, you're doing a lot for your child. And
Yeah, I think, I mean, you literally offered the proposal of like, okay, well, you can have a party there too. And he's like, oh, God, was that also your fiance's idea? It's like,
yeah.
no, you're just, you've got problems and I'm trying to give you a solution, my
Right.
guy.
Because he probably doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want to plan a party too. So he's just like
yeah.
too lazy to plan a party, too lazy to drive to a party.
Too lazy to drive out of the middle of nowhere, too lazy to plan a party in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Probably because it would require driving out of the middle of nowhere to get the things you need for the party in the first place.
Which is crazy too, because if you live in the middle of nowhere and you're used to driving so far for like everything, then why is this a problem now all of a sudden for your son's 6th birthday?
I think it's because they just got beef with fiance.
Probably.
You let your fiance think for you. Why you even have a birthday for the kids? They're too young
Right.
and stupid to remember them.
You found a guy that like treats you right? Blah.
Disgusting.
Boring. There is a little bit more to the story though. OP continues on a list of things she does. I stuff party favor bags and buy and stuff a giant piñata. These kids will have fun at anything that I put together for them.
Yeah, I will say piñata is top tier fun for
You-
the children.
You gotta have a piñata.
Piñata-
They will remember.
Piñata was always like, it's go time. It's go time.
There's
when
always,
the
like,
piñata's out.
A plan. Like, oh, we're gonna go to this party this year. I'm gonna get this piñata.
Yeah, dude.
New strategy.
Piñata's out party.
Yeah, there you go. So really, am I the a-hole for saying that they can just pay for it and do all the work themselves instead of worrying about what they want to do? Because it's either get on the boat or swim for me at this point. I also acknowledge that I'm a giant pushover and do way too much for others. I'm working on this, hence the reason for this post and the reason that there is so much here. Sorry if it doesn't all make sense. I'm just so flustered right now and don't understand why they think they should get to control my son's birthday when they aren't his parents, but are simply manipulating his father into what they want. And that's the end of that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I was really thinking that the father was carrying these opinions too, but I guess that makes sense if like the aunts and uncles are also like,
Yeah,
We don't want to
someone's just like,
drive.
oh God, we
Ooh.
have to drive. Why don't they have to drive? That's
Yeah.
so unfair. Let the baby drive. They've
Tori-
had a whole movie about that. It's called Baby Driver. Hello.
Driver. Hello. I didn't see it, but
I
like
did not see it, but clearly
Pretty self-explanatory.
I think I know what it's about.
yeah. Toria Baumgartner said something about, oh, heck no, she's enabling him. I think it was up a little bit. But I mean, honestly, it is nice that she's admitting that she is like a people pleaser because it
Yeah.
does definitely seem like she's doing a lot of unnecessary things.
Yeah. It's good. OP's got the awareness of
Yeah.
the chronic people pleasing, the CPP.
CPP. She's finally seeing the PP.
She sees the CPP.
yeah. First step is awareness. But that's the end of that story.
My dad chose a new family, and now everyone says I owe him closure. Daddy, see ya. This is mostly about my dad, Tom, who I'll be calling Tom throughout the post because IRL, I use his first name and have for several years now. By the way, this comes from Hands.
What about?
Hands.
Are you
like,
serious?
like hands?
Like
Hey,
hands? Like
hands. Like jazz hands?
Or just
Hands.
like Tom hands?
And if
Who
you
is
want to
that
submit your own
man?
stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia. I'm Savannah.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And Dopey says, Tom married my late mom, and when she was already passed, he married her. Late mom. And they had my late sister, who was 21, female, when she passed away. Wow. I'm so sorry. It's very early. Together, and then Tom enlisted in the military. I, 24 male, was born 3 years later. Tom wasn't around very much when me and my sister were growing up. If we saw him for an entire week out of the year, that was a lot. When he wasn't overseas, he would travel around with his military buddies or visit different family members throughout the States. It felt very much like he came home to rest and sleep and not be with his wife and kids. He was never with us for Christmas, for any of our birthdays, for any Father's Day, or for any holiday. He also didn't call very often, and my sister and I used to discuss whether Tom was sleeping around when he was gone. We thought it was very likely, seeing as he was gone for so much of the time. Even Tom's own parents were disgusted with his lack of involvement in the family, and they refused to see him when he would try to visit. They would send him our way, but he'd just go to his siblings' places or his favorite aunt's place. He was given a desk job when I was 13 or 14, but he still wasn't around very much. We saw him a little more, but mostly he slept at work and trained with some of his buddies, hoping he could be shipped out again. That didn't happen. Then, when I was 16, he spent more time at home, but he wasn't engaged in the family at all. It took my sister and me ignoring his birthday the year before my sister and mom passed away for him to be like, what the heck? He spent months trying to get my sister to talk to him and saying he wanted to fix the relationship. At this time, he was still mostly ignoring me. 3 times before she passed away, she told him to go F himself and told Tom he was Tom and not our dad. You're Tom. You're not dad, you're Tom. Who is that?
That's Tom Hands.
Tall hands?
She told him mom had worked while he was away, so he wasn't the sole provider, and yet mom could make time for her kids, unlike him. The day she and mom passed away, my sister told Tom she would never forgive him or want a relationship with him and that she hated him. She said it would have been easier for all of us if he had passed away overseas instead of coming home. Oof. Because then we wouldn't have dealt with so many years of him not caring. 3 hours after that, my sister and mom passed away. How? At the same day?
Oh, it was probably like an
happened?
accident
Oh.
of some sort.
I wasn't living at home when they passed, and I took charge of the funerals and everything. Tom tried to once or twice, but he was shamed into staying out of things by me, by his parents, and by some of his siblings who welcomed him into their home when he was avoiding his family. A year after my mom and sister passed away, Tom got remarried. I was invited but didn't go, and I didn't stay in touch with him throughout that period or after. I knew from some of his family that he and his wife had kids together, and that he is a whole other family. About a year ago, he started to remember I exist, and he contacted me through social media.
Wait.
He's like, oh,
He's like, wait,
like I'm forgetting something.
who's that? Who's that person?
Who was that? Oh my
It's on
god!
the tip of my
OP.
tongue. It's on the. I have a daughter.
I have a daughter.
He probably went.
His wife's like,
"Whoops."
sorry. She's like, I have a daughter.
Oh, what's her name?
Oh,
Tom. No, that's me.
Tama?
Toenail.
Toenail?
Toenail?
That can't be right.
No.
That can't be right. I wouldn't name her Toenail.
Tomato.
Maybe you come with me, and then
Hey,
you introduce
you.
yourself, and then she'll have to say her name.
And then and then it'll be, hi, I'm. Yes, you are.
Yeah,
Knew it.
My daughter.
Knew it.
I'll
Nailed it.
introduce her as my daughter, and then you ask her her name.
This is my daughter. Name, insert name here.
This is my daughter. We have this fun thing where we don't remember each other's names.
Fun
you.
game. Yeah, we played this game a lot. It's very fun. She's really good at it.
She's so good at
She
it.
calls me Tom.
She calls me.
even though
I
that's my
hate
name.
you.
That's my name, but you know.
I told him it was too late and that he needed to focus on his second chance family and leave me alone. He told me he didn't want to carry the guilt of losing 2 of his children in being hated by them in our or his final moments. I told him he didn't have a choice in that anymore. And the time to avoid that was when we were kids and wanted and needed our father around.
Also, OP is a man,
Oh, a piece of man.
which made it even funnier. Tom's like, I have a daughter.
Tom.
He's like, I've
Jr..
been a son. I've been your son the whole time. He's like, right.
This is my daughter's son.
My daughter's the one who
Tom.
passed away. My son, Tom. That's your name, Dad.
Tim?
You can also be Tom
you
if
could
you
be
like.
Tom. You could be Tom Jr.
You want to be Tom?
I'm
too?
not, Dad.
We're all Tom. This is my fiance,
Tom.
Tom.
He has messaged me several times, but I ignore them and don't engage back. Most are left unread, even. His wife contacted me through social media recently as well, or I'm assuming it's her, but I'm not 100% positive. She, again, assuming it's her, told me that he carries around the guilt of my sister and that he doesn't deserve to carry it around with me, too. She said I should forgive on both of our behalves so it can be lifted of his guilt. She said their kids deserve to know their older brother, too, and to hear about their older sister, and that I'm the only living person who can share all that. After that, he messaged me again and begged me to come meet his family and try to join them and repair things with him. He told me it would be all he would ever ask of me.
Why
By the
isn't
way-
he actually asking?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, his wife's asking.
yeah, what? Who
By
she
the-
doesn't know.
by the
He
way-
doesn't. Sorry.
By the way, the only thing I'm ever going to ask of you guys is to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. It seems like your dad stole his wife's phone for a second, messaged you on his Instagram, and then texted you and was like, my wife has a point. Definitely my wife. She's got a point.
My
She
wife
wrote
is-
to you for sure. It was her. And she's right.
You should forgive her so then you forgive me. Even though you know nothing of this woman, but just forgive. Forgiveness is all
a virtue.
about what we are, right?
Yeah. It'll
And
make
I
you feel
forgave
better.
you.
You're welcome. I forgave you for not talking to me.
I forgave you. Now come here.
Yeah. Let's
Give Daddy
exchange.
some sugar.
Terrible. But there is a little bit left. Now, I have one of my aunts who was one of the siblings to always welcome him, but also didn't agree with him being left out of funeral planning, trying to fight his corner. She says, I need to figure out a way forward with him and his family. She asked me if I just never plan to know my new siblings, and I told her, yep. I said we will never have anything in common. There will always be a very big age gap, and Tom will never ever be my dad in anything but blood. I also accused her of enabling him, which pissed her off. I know I could or should block him, and I might. I haven't decided that far yet. Right now, not responding works for me, but seeing as this has gotten heated, and my aunt is fully ready to keep fighting for him, maybe with his wife, I don't know. I decided, why not ask online? This isn't me asking in a place of therapy or anything else, by the way. So what says the internet? Am I the a-hole? No.
I don't think so.
I think it makes sense why he is coming back after all this time. And wanting a relationship. He's lost important people in his life, even if he wasn't showing up for them. And I think he probably really does want a relationship with you.
Yeah.
However, you don't really get to demand that. You don't get to choose when you come back into someone's life and whether or not they accept that.
Especially with everything that's happened in the
Yeah.
past. Like, oh, now you're ready to come back into my life, so I have to be ready?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I'm
No.
gonna go away.
Yeah.
Like
He's
you
allowed
did.
to ask.
Remember?
Oh,
Got him.
Burn.
Burn.
He's allowed to ask, but you can also say
Yeah.
no.
But you can also deny.
Indeed.
You have no obligation to forgive this man for
Mm-mm.
everything that he's done. And if you don't want him in your life, like he didn't want you in his, you
Yeah.
can completely just
Yeah.
not have him in your life.
You
And
are
he
allowed
has to
to say
deal with
no.
that guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he can deal with it because that's what he did.
And
So
don't care what they say.
Yeah,
Don't
care
you
what they
know,
say. It's
Their
up to you,
opinion,
OP.
Their opinion doesn't matter.
I told my date I wasn't ready to meet her kids, but she didn't listen.
I hate your kids.
I, male 40, have been seeing a woman, female 36, since July. She's fun to hang out with. I have a busy work schedule and she has 2 kids, so we usually get together when she's child-free and I'm not working. She asked me to meet her kids in October, but I told her I wasn't ready yet. She asked again in November, and I said maybe after the holidays. By the way, this comes from user Inspector Minimum 5518, and if you want to go submit your own stories, go over to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers to life's questions. We only know what we know, so let us know what you know down in the comments. On Saturday, I was supposed to go over to her place at 5 p.m. When I arrived, her kids were there. I introduced myself. I'm French-Canadian, and my name is common in both French and English. I always introduce myself by saying, "Hi, I'm Sébastien," in the French way. But I tell people they can call me Sebastian or Seb if they like. The kids, 10 and 12, girls, started laughing and said, "Sebastian? What a stupid name."
Damn.
Oh my God, you're so stupid. They started making fun of my name. I said, "It's actually French, since I'm French-Canadian." And they started laughing even harder. Then their mom came in and said their dad was supposed to pick them up, but he had canceled, but that it was okay, and we could have a nice family dinner. The kids again said, "Yeah, with Sebastian." Their mom smiled and said, "They're just kids and laugh at silly things." I made an excuse and left within about 15 minutes. Now my girlfriend is mad, saying I bailed on her and ran away as soon as I saw the kids, like a pathetic coward. Was I an a-hole? Did I overreact to the kids' behavior and her brushing it off? The whole thing has made me feel really uncomfortable. We've got some comments from Embarrassed Row 2025, and this is downvoted. Not your kids, but you do understand if their parents haven't been divorced long, they're probably out to sabotage any relationship, hoping they get back together. OP replies, they've been divorced for 3 years. LeBurl says, in the end, it sounds like you're not ready for kids in your life. I would seriously recommend reconsidering your relationship status. OP replies, I'm not ready? If they were my kids, I would have told them to apologize immediately because it's disrespectful to make fun of other people's names and their language. I would have taught my kids manners. Sounds like you let kids walk all over you so you can hook up with their mom. Individual Bat 7709 says, introducing you to the kids after 4 months is wild. OP says, she said she was a package deal and it's important to see if her kids like me. I wasn't feeling comfortable yet, so I suggested at least after the holiday season. No Owl 8576 replies, so you were basically bullied by a 10 and 12-year-old girl? If a guy can't handle a joke about your name and run out the door, yeah, probably wasn't the right one for my mom anyway, to be honest. OP says, you really think the solution was engaging and bullying back a bunch of kids? You
No.
absolute buffoon.
No,
Like,
that wasn't the solution. You're so close. He's like, oh, so I was supposed to ruthlessly bully them instead? I wasn't supposed to run and cry out of the house? No, the solution was you just kind of don't, like, you're like, oh, yeah, I know it is kind of a funny sounding name.
Yeah,
That's what you would do.
You should have just said a bunch more funny words in French.
Yeah, make them laugh. Like,
Like,
oh, parlez-vous français? I've got a silly voice. Oh, oui, oui, oui.
Gommage
Mm-hmm.
means scrub.
Yeah.
Gotta gommage those mouths with some soap. Slandering the French. Canadian. JJQQQ says, I've met plenty of French Canadians. Sharp tongues. The girls wouldn't have stood a chance, but after that, neither would your relationship. And OP probably is going to get offended. French Canadians have sharp tongues? Why? Because we don't like to be made fun of?
That's not even what the commenter was saying.
So funny.
That's
and
not
again,
even what the commenter was saying.
I don't want to hear anyone come after me for being like, Dakota's saying bad stuff about French Canadians. Look at it. Look. There are lovely French Canadians. But man, you can slander America all day long. I'm not going to be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. We're really easy to slander right now, so it's fine. But anyway, this commenter continues. No, we don't tolerate BS. That's for sure. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. That wasn't the right accent, and that's probably going to make the French Canadians upset.
Yeah.
But there's an update. I wasn't planning to post an update, but here it is. Since yesterday, my now ex has spiraled. She sent me like 20 messages in the morning on Instagram saying
Oh,
what a
dang.
loser I am, that I'm a weak, pathetic little cat man, and that I would be a terrible stepdad, and that she was planning to have a baby with me. Well, and that was news to me
whoa.
because we never talked about this. Then she deleted all of them. When I checked my phone after my work meeting, she had sent another 20 messages saying how she misses me. No, girl, that we could get through this. No, girl, that we belong to each other, and asking me to call her. I did not answer these messages. She deleted those too, and then sent another million messages swearing at me. She deleted those as well. She sent new messages and said I was harmful because I gave her the silent treatment. I messaged that I didn't know what was going on and that I was at work and saw all her messages, and then checked my phone again and saw the opposite of her first texts. I said I wanted to give her time to calm down and then we could talk. She said not to bother and that she hates me and blocked me, and then she unblocked me. But we would never block you from listening to full episodes with stories like this one on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts, just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to them all right now on all your devices.
All of them. Yeah, I think she's the a-hole here. As I said, I think OP's just a little snooty and can't take being bullied by 10-year-olds. But, that doesn't make him an a-hole. It just makes him sensitive.
Yeah, it sounds like this wasn't going to work out regardless,
No, sir.
but I think you need to learn how to navigate playground insults better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how fragile could you be?
But you're not the a-hole. So you got that.
You're just a little fragile. You're a fragile eagle that used to be a bird.
A fragile eagle.
They called it the fragile eagle. I learned
Fragile.
this at the tar pits.
Really?
Yes,
That's nice.
and I made a joke that my girlfriend was the fragile eagle, and she didn't like it. But she did it. She didn't like it in the way where she like smiled and laughed about it,
She
and
went-
then was like, "Shut up!
she went.
Not the fragile eagle. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?" Apparently, she also posted my image in a local "Are We Dating the Same Guy" Facebook group to warn other
Oh,
women
she's
about
super
me.
big a-hole.
She said, "Don't mention how his funny French name sounds, or he'll come up with a lame excuse and leave your house."
She said, watch out for the silly Frenchman because he can handle 12-year-old insults.
My coworker is in that group and showed me. She said I was emotionally harmful and terrible with kids. Well, one of those is
Yikes.
true. At this point, I'm going to take a break from everything and focus on Christmas shopping for my nieces and nephews. Dating in your 40s is something. And there are some top comments here. Lost in Nothing Box says, never ever get involved with single moms.
Whoa.
And that comment was downvoted, by the way.
Whoa.
And that's...
Okay.
feel like he's bringing his own trauma. OP says, my mom was a single mom. My dad passed away when I was 4. And when she met my stepdad, who I call dad, is a great guy. My mom always made sure we're nice and polite to him as he was going above and beyond for us. Numerous bet 3575 replies, count yourself very lucky that she exposed her insanity before getting knocked up. Sure hope you were using birth control. And OP says, I was, and supposedly she was on pills. My coworker thinks within a few weeks I'll get a message from her claiming she's pregnant. I really hope not.
I honestly do not. I would not be surprised.
Yeah. North Reference 7081 says, you should probably defend yourself unless you don't care about your reputation in your community. OP says, the thing is, my coworker's in her 20s and we're not even close. It would look so weird, a young woman defending a 40-year-old dude. I really don't want her to be involved in my mess.
My daughter hated her name so much, she changed it despite my protests.
You picked a terrible name.
Yeah. I, 39 female, was born in Canada but was taken to India weeks after I turned 18 and was married by my parents to my cousin who I barely knew. Ooh. I was treated well by my husband. He was polite, paid for school there, took me on dates, and never forced me to do anything. And his love is why we reconnected when he came to Canada. By the way, this comes from That Name Hurts Me, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, but his mother, your aunt, hated me and was always yelling, calling me useless, demeaning me, and even vowing to get me divorced so my husband could marry my sister. When I got pregnant, I had to go. I couldn't subject my child to that witch. Our maid helped me return to Canada, and I named my daughter Zahira, fake name, after her. I have a good life, great job, amazing children, and am in a PhD program now, and it is because that maid took a big risk just to help me. My daughter became hateful of the name Zahira at about 10, and then pretended to have a more typical Canadian name or used a nickname. She stopped appreciating that she was named after the woman who helped us escape. When Zahira turned 18, she changed her name to Rahani, again fake. I can live with a name change, but Rahani is so close to my mother-in-law's name. It triggers me. I've told her and she doesn't care. Wait, so she changed it to another Indian name?
Right. I thought we were going to change it to like a
Claire.
Canadian name.
Yeah.
Or say Claire. That's
My psychologist has helped me with this, but it hurts. I accept she is not Zahira anymore, but I cannot say Rahani even if everyone does. So I use pet names like Baby or Sweetie. I thought she wouldn't notice, but she has. I'm pregnant and we learned it's a girl. My husband said we can name her Zahira, and my daughter said, do it, so you can call me Ruhani. With all my stress, I got angry and said she can't be replaced, and I still hate her new name. It started an argument between us with my daughter calling me a selfish knucklehead for not accepting her new name. My husband understands, as he knows I hate his mother, but my sons are on my daughter's side, and said to post here saying people would agree I am the a-hole. I do not like them using that word, but am I? And there is an update. You would be the a-hole if you used that name for your daughter.
I don't think that
But I
she's
don't even
the
think-
a-hole for being
yeah.
upset about the name change.
agree.
But I do think now that it's happened,
Yeah.
we need to just call our daughter by her name.
Yeah, because she's not, maybe there will come a day where she realizes, oh, I actually do appreciate that
Yeah.
name. Because I've known people who were kind of didn't love their name because of it was like hard to pronounce or people didn't know how to say it when they were kids and stuff, and then have come to love the name. So maybe that will happen, but like for now, if you want to preserve your relationship with your daughter, I think you do have to accept that this has happened.
And not name your new kid.
Don't do that.
Her
Don't do
basically
that.
past name.
You're like, hello, Zahira 2. And she's like, why is
Just
my
add
name Zahira 2?
2.0.
Hello, Voldemort 2.0.
Yeah.
You're like,
Update. I tried talking to my daughter about her old name and why she hated it, but she gave wishy-washy reasons on it never suiting her. She got angry when I asked if it was because of bullying. I asked if she cared about my maid's sacrifice, and she said she didn't, and that what I went through in India did not seem bad. Well, that's a separate conversation you need to have with her.
Yeah.
I asked if she cared how similar her name is to my mother-in-law's name. She said she didn't, and it was my issue to get over and didn't want to hear any more nicknames or to use therapy as an excuse. After that, I don't know, I kind of regressed mentally and started having nightmares of India. I guess I got overwhelmed by stress because of that, being pregnant and my PhD program. So I visited my brother Fayez, 22, in Brampton for a weekend. He lives on my property there and told me that he got a job in England. He left a few days ago, and I have started the process of moving to Ontario. As my daughter goes to university here in BC, she's not going with us. I guess it was just that if being around my own daughter was hurting me so much to the point I was scared I'd miscarry, then I needed to be gone for both of our sakes. Making arrangements to continue working for my PhD was the most stressful thing, but that's done. Ever since I made the decision to move, I felt so much better and so free. I honestly can't wait to be gone from here. I will continue to pay for my daughter's school, living expenses, and her therapy, but maybe by living alone, she'll understand what it was like for me when it was just us after I escaped. This is really tough.
So we're dealing with it by leaving our daughter.
Well, she's going to university.
Right, and she's moving to the same place she's going to university. They're just
Yes.
not going to live together.
Yeah, OP is going to Ontario. I don't know where. I think
Oh.
daughter goes to university here in British Columbia. So,
Here, okay,
Yeah.
where they currently are, daughter goes. Mom is moving to Ontario.
yes.
So mom is moving away from where daughter is.
I don't think it was like fully the reason why she was moving,
right.
but I think it was like
it
a
does
factor why.
seem low-key
yeah.
a little bit,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, it seems like maybe a
Okay.
factor that influenced or at least has made it favorable.
Yeah, I also agree with Duchess. That's not the same. Like, she's not going to understand what it was like in India.
Yeah.
You're still paying for everything.
Absolutely.
And I'm
also
not
she's-
saying
yeah.
to stop paying for all of her
Yeah.
stuff. If you can afford to give her that experience, sure. But
Yeah. I'm hopeful that maybe she'll, realize later what you've kind of done, but
I almost wonder
Yeah.
too if the easiest way to get that understanding would be if we started calling her by her name that she
Yeah.
has chosen.
I think it
we can
might.
slowly reopen
Mhm.
those conversations again.
Yeah. Part of me feels as if I am abandoning her over something as stupid as a name. But soon she will be the age I was when I had her. And every girl needs to grow up and learn empathy. I have tried to be a better mother than my own. I just hope that this is what is best for her. On the other hand, my husband and boys are so excited to move to Ontario, so I know we'll have a good time there. Comments by OP on marrying her cousin. Getting married to my cousin was not what I wanted in my life. Yes, I ultimately consented to it because I thought it would be best for me. I was wrong. But there are thousands of girls across South Asia who are given an impossible choice just like me. My parents were cousins too. It is just how it is in my culture. OP on our initial separation from her husband. We were separated when he came to Canada of his own educational merit. I did not sponsor him. I let him see our daughter. From there, things slowly ended up happening between us again with certain conditions. He was never unkind to me in India, and he loved me, but it took time for me to feel the same way about him. And we do have an update. Update 2, 4 years later. I posted this here nearly 4 years ago. Am I the a-hole for admitting to my daughter that I hate what she changed her name to? So much has changed since then, and I really felt like posting today because in 2 weeks, my daughter is going to get married. Wow.
Lovely.
And it had me reflecting a lot because when I was a teenager, I was a girl who was raising her own siblings and being hurt so badly in so many different ways by my parents. I never wanted kids. I dreaded the idea of being pregnant. I never wanted to be married. And I had so many dreams that never came true. That's why I wanted my daughter to have everything that I never had and to be the opposite of my own mother. Since I posted, so many things have changed in my life. I've moved across the country. I've got a PhD now. I've got a job, which 20 years ago it seemed like to me that I could never get. But most importantly to me is that somehow my husband managed to get into contact with my maid who saved my life.
Oh, wow.
Congrats. I know it meant putting up with his mother, but he did it, and I got to visit her. That's amazing. I got to meet all her family, and I got to tell her about my life, and it feels like I got to unburden everything to her. In so many ways, it was like she was the older sister that I wish I'd had to protect me when I was a child, and I'm so grateful to have her back. I still don't know why my daughter hated her name for so long, and she still doesn't tell me and gets agitated whenever I ask. But she is using her name again, not the one she changed it to.
So she's back to her original name.
I
It was
knew
like
that
a
was gonna
very
happen.
Rebellious teenager phase. is
I
what it
knew that was
felt
going to
like.
happen. Yeah. And I feel like if you just let it happen and you're not digging your heels in, it eventually works out and they realize, oh, you know what?
I would love to know what the actual names were.
Yeah, me too.
Those ones were fake.
Yeah. But she is using her name again, not the one she changed it to. Her fiance is Indian, just like us, and she started using it again because he liked that name over the one she chose. Well, okay.
Okay.
Hope that's not the only reason.
Okay.
It's a ridiculous reason, but it's fine. But she appreciates it now, and she appreciates what it means to me because when she told her fiance's mother, She started crying over how beautiful the story is. Apparently, her mother-in-law was able to get through to her in a way that I was never able to. Her mother-in-law and I have become so close since we met as well. It's like she gets me. She's actually from India, but there's so many things about her and I that just click so well together. It is like I have another younger sister now. I love that. I know my daughter wants to be more like her than me, but I don't feel jealous like I think I'm supposed to. I feel happy that such a wonderful woman will be able to be there for her when she's married and guide her. And I hope that you can be there for us and listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, I figured that she was either like going to at least apologize
Yeah.
for the like, oh my god, I'm sorry that I was doubting what you went through, or just fully be like, yeah, I'm over the name change.
I
kinda
like my name
thing.
now. Yeah, it takes a minute, but
Sound like I think rebellious teenager phase,
mhm.
going off to college, fresh
Yeah.
start. She's like, I'm just gonna change my name,
I want a new life. Yeah.
I want a basic name.
I mean,
and then didn't pick a basic name.
yeah, I have a friend who had like nickname all throughout middle school, and we like all exclusively referred to her as the nickname.
Really.
And then in high school, she went back to her like, her actual name, and was like, "Don't like no one call me anything but this. This is my name now."
That's funny.
And now she's like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
As long as this woman is in my daughter's life, I know I will never have to worry for her. Looking back at that first post from 4 years ago, the person that I was is so different than who I am now. It's like back then I couldn't see things clearly. I was worried about my education, my pregnancy, my daughter, and thought it was selfish to be worried about myself. But I'm so happy now. I wish I could go back to me and meet me and my husband when we were first married, when we were just these 18-year-olds who knew nothing, and tell them that one day we will be this happy. I love my daughters, my sons, and my sisters, and I love that I can finally live the life I want. That's
Lovely.
amazing. I'm so happy for
Yay.
you. Good story.
My stepmom let my stepbrother get away with everything, but not me.
I don't let him get away with nothing.
When I, 19 female, was 15, my stepbrother Jake, 17 male, began living with us. Us being me, older sister, 20 female, dad, 44 male, and stepmom, 42 female. My stepmom is the only mom I've ever known. I call her mom, but for clarity, I'm adding the step. By the way, this comes from user throwaway089127, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
We're here to give good advice goofily like good little goofballs. We don't have all the answers to all of life's problems. We just know what we know. So tell us what you know in the comments. And OP says, anyway, Jake started out meh, but after a few months, he became annoying. He was aggressive and always had a really nasty attitude, and although it was mostly directed towards my parents, it still sucked. Plus, my parents never actually punished him. And surprise, surprise, his behavior worsened.
Oh, man.
He began stealing,
Oh,
being
man.
problematic, and was a nightmare at school.
Ah.
My parents were always being called to pick him up because he always managed to get into trouble. Because of Jake's behavior, my sister and I became last-minute thoughts, and my parents barely ever talked to or about us. It was always Jake this and Jake that. Now, despite his behavior, Jake isn't all that bad. We hardly talk, but he is nice. He only fights with my parents and has helped me out a few times. My problem isn't with him necessarily, but the way he acts out and how my parents prioritize and baby him. Now on to the incident. Jake lost a hockey game and came home pissed.
Oh, I can't believe I freaking lost hockey.
Hockey, canonically the gayest sport out right now.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even go to the cottage.
My stepmom asked him to relax, and he told her to F off. Well, he went out later and came home again, but this time he was not himself. My stepmom just let him sleep and even kissed him goodnight. Now, this pissed me off. I told her that when I came home slightly wasted once, she grounded me for 2 freaking weeks. She told me how now wasn't the time, but I told her that she has some serious double standards. And that I get that he is her actual son and I'm not her actual child, but this was all so unfair. She told me that the actual child comment was uncalled for and that she had raised me for most of my life and deserved better than that. My dad, who had been listening the whole time, told me not to be rude, but I ignored him and her, then went to my bedroom. This happened last night. and she's acting like everything is fine, but my dad is giving me the silent treatment. I asked him if he was being serious, and he said that I wasn't allowed to say those things and that I should apologize because my stepmom is so upset. I refused and am confident I'm not the a-hole, but I do feel a little regretful about mentioning our blood relation. Say what you will, but she did raise me after all. So, Reddit, am I the a-hole? And there's an update, but
I think that's a fair thing to call out when you feel it's unfair.
I think you're an angry teen.
Yeah.
You're an angry teenager.
And she's giving her other angry teen a lot of leeway, so I think you're allowed to have a little bit of leeway as well.
Yeah. It's like, you can be mad at me, but I'm just pointing out what I'm thinking might be going on. It's like, yeah, okay, that's your son,
Yeah.
but like, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're scared of him.
That's true. It could be. He's a big old hockey player.
Big old hockey guy.
Got a big old hockey stick. Know how to play hockey moves. Yeah, hopefully you're able to have like a real conversation since there's been some time now. You're 19, I think.
We do have an update.
Yeah.
Let's see if we got any motion going here.
Mm-hmm.
So, 2 weeks ago, I made a post on here asking if I was out of line. Many of you said I wasn't and that my parents were in the wrong. With that in mind, I had another conversation with my parents and told them why I said what I said and basically why I'm not going to apologize. Thankfully, they apologized and owned up to everything. We had a very emotional and personal talk, and although I can't forget the past few years, I don't resent them. Now on to my stepbrother's behavior. Many of you commented on it and said that even though I had nothing against him, his behavior still isn't okay. I know that, but when I said his attitude was targeted towards my parents or authority figures in general, I wasn't wrong. My stepmom, my sister, and I went out for dinner the other night, and she gave an explanation as to why she hasn't punished him for his awful behavior like she did to us. We got some bullet points.
Oh.
The first one is guilt.
Oh.
When she had him, she made really bad choices, and because of the choices, she decided it was safer for her son to live with his dad, who was older and more stable. Unfortunately, he was not the best choice. I also feel like I should mention that my stepbrother was the result of an affair / one-night stand,
Ay.
and my mom wasn't aware the guy was married.
Ay.
Bit of a mess going on there.
So he's got some turmoil going on inside of him.
He's got some feelings,
Yeah.
and they have rough edges.
Mm-hmm. And that's why he wears khaki.
Plays khaki and plays hacky.
Khaki. Laffy.
Another bullet point here. My stepbrother is trying to see how far he can go before either she, my dad, or anyone else with similar statuses snap. He's acting out because he still feels unsafe and does not trust my parents or adults in general, and he's just waiting because his mind has convinced him everyone is like his dad and stepmom. He used to go to therapy but stopped for a bit, and apparently my parents are struggling to find a proper fit for him now. They're actively looking, though. And by the way, you can actively look for stories just like this in the full episodes that we have on your favorite podcast platform, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. Just search OK Storytime wherever you listen to podcasts.
Do it.
And get to listening, okay?
Snap, do it.
And we have a little bit more story here.
Oh, man. Well, it seems like there are reasons why they're favoring him, whether they're fair or not.
Reasons.
But there are reasons. And you're probably doing better than him if that makes you feel good. Do you really want your parents to just let it slide every time you drink underage? I don't know.
I mean, it's good to get some consequences every now and again. I mean, it
Yeah,
was,
you'll probably turn out better.
It's crazy to me. This took 4 years before another conversation.
Me too. But also if he was 15 and it doesn't seem like they, necessarily had the best parenting method.
Yeah. Well, let's finish this story.
Yeah.
I also think my stepbrother overheard the argument I had with my parents because he's been avoiding me. I don't know if it was out of guilt, embarrassment, or anger,
Probably a mix.
But I managed to have a conversation with him yesterday, and I told him that he doesn't have to be so scared all the time, that he can trust my parents. He didn't say much, but he's not running out of the room whenever I'm around, so that's good. Anyways, that's it. I just wanted to thank you guys for showing me so much support when I felt so alone. This sounds cheesy, but I mean it. Thanks.
I feel like you just had the interaction, like the type of interaction you have in the movie with a kind of wild animal that you've slowly built trust with. And it kind of nuzzled, like the How to Train Your Dragon moment of Toothless putting his little snout into your hand. That was what just happened.
I'm thinking of the scene from Fantastic Mr. Fox where they're looking at the wolf.
Oh, and he just
and
goes,
he's like,
goes,
is it going to be a long winter?
yeah.
He doesn't know.
I asked my daughter to share her gifts with her stepsister. It didn't go well.
Maybe she doesn't want to share.
I, 40 female, was a single mother to my daughter, Amy, 15 female. I came out 3 years ago and married my wife, Jenna, 42 female, last year. She had a daughter, Nora, 13 female. We all live together as I have full custody of my daughter. It was kind of hard for her to adjust to having a second mom, but they got along well. By the way, this comes from Emotional Duty 5051, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And OP says, the girls have their birthdays very close, only 2 days apart. So we decided to have a joint birthday party for both of them, since Nora had a hard time making new friends. They moved in with us, and she's very shy. Most of my family lives out of the country, so the gifts were sent a week early. It was a huge bag with at least 20 gifts. The party was nice, and we opened the bag at night once everyone left. Jenna handed out the presents as she took them out. After 12 gifts in a row just for Amy, I checked the bag and froze to see that there were only one gift for Nora from my parents. She pretended it wasn't a big deal, but as she opened the present, I saw her face fall. It was a $15 tumbler from Walmart. Not to sound ungrateful, but Amy's gifts were much more expensive. Lots of gift cards over $100, a new phone? Who got her a new phone?
She gets a phone, this girl gets a tumbler.
Limited
have
edition Funkos, designer clothes, and lots of cards wishing her a happy birthday. Needless to say, I blew up in the family chat, calling out my parents, siblings, and extended family who sent gifts for not considering Nora and my parents for the cheap gift. No one took me seriously since it's not our duty to give gifts to someone else's kid. And Amy deserved them, since I didn't even throw her own birthday party, emphasizing that Jenna and Nora are my problem, not theirs. Nora was clearly hurt, since it's not the first time my family has left her out. At night, I asked Amy to share some of the gifts with her stepsister. Not all of them, just a couple of gift cards and some of the new clothes. Amy refused. This surprised me since she never had a problem with sharing, and even though she and Nora are not BFFs, they usually get along. After asking why, Amy started crying, saying that she never wanted a joint birthday party and that I forced her to share everything with Nora. That is really fair of her to say.
Because they are two different people. That's why I feel bad, like, when I, was with the twins and everything. They will never have, like,
Their
they'll
own birthday
always have a
parties.
joint. Yeah. And I'm like, and they always get just the same things from everyone. It's
Aw.
like, okay, I got a shirt, you got a shirt. I got, football gloves, you got football gloves. I
Yeah.
got, a car, like a remote car, you got a remote car. It's the same gifts. They just both have to have them.
Why would you even need two of the gifts anyway?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
They're brothers.
Yeah.
They would probably just share.
No,
them.
that was a thing. They were very much like, no, they each need to have like their own thing. Like they don't share.
Oh,
Even
wow.
like food. Like if we had like if I would make fruit or something and just like cut it up for them, I would have to put it on separate plates for them to eat. Like they won't just like pick out, they're like, no, they need their own. I don't know, but now they don't share. So
Yeah,
I guess make them feel individual or something, but they don't even like if, say I gave them the wrong things and like I switched it, they wouldn't eat it. They're like, no, you gave it to him. You gave it to him. I'm not touching that. I'd be like,
that's ridiculous. They share a room for space, and I make sure they're both invited to the same parties and sleepovers so that Nora won't be left out. I'm just going back really quick.
Yeah.
There is a 2-year age gap. Nora is 13. Amy is 15. If I were 15, I don't know if I would want a 13-year-old coming to all of the same events as me.
that's true.
Like, yeah, they're sisters, but Amy probably wants to hang out with her own friends.
Yeah, just because Nora's like, like a little shy and a little more introverted doesn't mean that you should also put Amy at that expense as well.
Exactly.
And now have Amy share all of her friends with Nora. It's not fair in that way. They both have individual identities. You can't just, because it works for you guys, just do a joint birthday. Like, no, they're two different people.
Mhm.
And they also don't even have the same birthday.
I wouldn't have done the joint birthday.
Yeah.
If they don't invite both of them, then neither of them goes. That's so messed up.
Yeah, what?
That genuinely is really, you're the a-hole for that, OP. Amy can't hang out with her friends because her sister stepsister hasn't even been in her life that long, wasn't invited? Amy stated that she at least wanted her own gifts to be hers alone. I scolded her for being selfish with her stepsister, grounded her, and took a couple of the presents to give to Nora. You're an ale. She turned them down because she didn't want problems with Amy, and it felt like pity. It was. This was you giving her pity gifts.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like, no, I want her included. I'm taking your stuff. When that's her stuff. Like, and it's her birthday, and
Her birthday.
they're 2 years apart, and, that's her family. You can't expect her family to give your extended family, gifts as well. Like, I mean,
yes.
my parents would, but that's just, they don't want anyone to go without.
Absolutely. But like, would your parents let's say your parents knew someone for maybe 2 years, would they give them the same amount of gifts as they give you?
Oh, no. I mean, like, I would have more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I totally understand why you're upset that Nora's feeling left out. And to a certain extent, I think that she was left out, which is not okay. But there is going to be a difference because Nora hasn't been in the family's life for very long.
And I don't even know if they've met Nora, because they said that most of her family's out of the country.
Yeah. So have they all even met Nora?
So it's like they aren't close with her. They don't really know much about
what
her.
she likes, probably.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. And so it's like there's not really a relationship there. So they don't owe that to her. But like obviously it is like the nice thing to do.
Yeah.
To send something. But obviously the ones that you have a special relationship / connection with, like those are the ones you're going to go above and beyond.
Exactly. They're not going to send Nora, a girl they don't know, a iPhone.
It's like how I think of it is like, okay, so like my parents like will give all of us like presents for Christmas, and then but she also gives all of the cousins like presents for Christmas, but each of them just gets like one.
Yes.
But I obviously like everyone in my family gets, like 10 or something. It just really depends like how expensive or whatever. But like I feel like that makes sense.
That's reasonable.
Like, yeah, you don't have to give as much to them as you do to me since I am your child.
And if Nora feels left out, then you and her mom as the parents need to go above and beyond for her.
Yeah.
Not just steal Amy's gifts.
Yeah, and you can't just like expect the family to just do that for you,
Since then, Amy has been cold to all of us. I just want my 2 girls to be closer with the joint party and have the same things. Am I the a-hole? Yeah. And we've discussed it. Clarification, Jen and I bought gifts for the girls, their own tablets, as well as their friends. Nora also received gifts from her extended family, but they sent for Amy as well. How many did they send to Amy, though? Update! I didn't answer many questions in the comments because seeing the number of replies, I decided to make an update once things calmed down. I admit and accept that I haven't been the best mom to Amy. I love my daughter, but I always wanted a bigger family and was desperate to make it work. You were actively making it not work. I also accept that I favored Nora as I want her to recognize me as her mom's partner or stepmom. I talked to my wife and she agrees that I forced too much on the girls to share and being sisters to the point of being ridiculous with my if both of them aren't invited, neither of them goes rule. At first, she was okay with Amy including Nora in her friend group as she was always very shy and we didn't want her to be alone. But with the rule, I basically made Amy Nora's babysitter. In fact, I didn't know this. Amy went to her crying after I took away her presents and doesn't feel that I love her anymore. It made me cry. I thought we were a happy family. Later, I talked to Amy, begged her forgiveness, and promised that I would do things right from now on. She forgave me very quickly. See, it was that easy, OP. It was that easy. She just wanted you to listen to her. I also asked how she really feels about the blended family. She said that she really likes Jenna, but doesn't feel anything special towards Nora. I thought they loved each other. Turns out not. They barely tolerate each other. I asked her why, and Amy said, I've only known her for a year, and she's kind of weird. Later, I talked to Nora to apologize for the party and everything else. She was upset, but she also forgave me. Nora also confirmed that they don't really care about each other. They're just polite because they live together. Based on everything that happened, we're starting to make some changes. We're going to move Amy into the basement. Since the house is small and there's only 2 rooms, she chose to have it as her bedroom. We'll throw Amy her own party next month as she wanted. Nora didn't want to have one. And needless to say that if both of them aren't invited, neither of them goes rule no longer exists. But you know it does exist. Full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I think it was a real eye-opener for OP.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad that you took the advice of others of just being like, dude, you can't just control. You can't just be like, yeah, you're going to be friends and you're going to like it and your friends are going to come. And I know you don't have any, but like you can go in with them. And if like you don't want to, then no one's having anything. Like that's way too controlling. It's giving helicopter mom.
Agreed.
And I just don't, that's never a good thing. Control, like you can have control. Yes, control is like a good thing sometimes, but not over control to being like, you have to love your sister after knowing her for a year.
Yeah, and if you push that, they're not they're gonna like each other even less.
Oh, exactly. That's like those kids that like, very strict parents are like, you only do this, you can't go here, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And then they end up being so sneaky because it's like you don't let me do anything. And this is the only time I can go out and get an experience and explore and whatever. So it's like, I'm going to do it. And now I'm doing it in an unsafe way.
But we've got a little bit left. I'm proud that my girls found the place in their hearts to give me a second chance. And according to some advice I read in the comments, it was wrong of me to force them to be a family immediately. You can't force love. I should know that better than anyone. And I'm ashamed of my actions. They've been spending more time together lately, but I won't force anything. Their relationship is up to them. I don't know if this is what you expected. From the comments, most people expected Amy to go live with my parents, go no contact with me in the future, or that Jenna would divorce me and take them both. I started going to therapy a few weeks ago to work on my problems and hopefully be a better mother and wife for my family. Even if the comments were a bit harsh, I appreciate the interest and help. I honestly think you needed some harsh comments.
Yeah, I think you needed a wake-up call.
But that is the end of that story. And
My ex's partner demanded to name my child, but I won't allow it.
You're an ex. You don't get no say in my baby's name.
My ex-wife, female 28, and I, male 28, split up a few months ago due to her coming out as a lover of women. The split was quite amicable, and we have remained quite good friends. This is a Ross from Friends scenario. By the way, this comes from user throwaway 108765543. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Savannah.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we know and what we do, so let us know what you know and do and would do. Tell us your name, location, and occupation in the comments. As OP says, while she did cheat on me during the relationship, I understand that it was due to her spicy proclivity. She came from a very conservative Christian household who have cut her off now that she has come out. Marrying me was a way of placating her family, I suppose. You were the beard. What is that on the other side? You were her Venus.
Still kind
I'm
of a
your
beard,
Venus.
honestly.
I'm your fire.
Still kind of works as a beard, honestly.
Because it's like, even like lingerie, like they still wear that, right? For each other.
You were her.
Correct. Moving on. The issue now arising is the fact that she's pregnant with our child. This is literally Ross. This is literally Ross from Friends. During our marriage, we agreed that if we had a son, we would name him after both our grandfathers, as they both were very important people in our lives. Samuel Jacob last name. An issue has been raised by her new partner, female 27, over this name. Now, I will fully admit that her new partner and I have never really gotten along. She was a friend of a friend before she got together with my ex, and we just never saw eye to eye. But we both have tried to be cordial for the sake of my ex. While we recently were discussing the name of our child, the partner outright refused to accept that we were going to name the child Samuel. She had an ex named Samantha who was awful towards her and said that she could not stand to have her child share the name with her ex. Now, I fully understand that this woman will inevitably be a part of my son's life, but I explained to her the meaning behind why we were naming him Samuel and how important it was to me. My ex also backed me up, saying how this was decided long before she was in the picture, and while she was sorry that the name offended her, she would leave the decision to me. Her partner proceeded to get very angry again, insisting that her child would not have that name. This sent me over the edge. I asked her if I got her pregnant. She said, of course not. I asked if she somehow magically got my ex pregnant. Again, she says no. I then told her that since she was not the parent of this child, and that my ex and I will give our child the name we want, regardless of her opinion. The partner proceeded to go ballistic on me, calling me a hater of those who have been in the closet for not giving her any input, and forcing her into this situation, and stormed out of the room. My ex was also not happy with me, but still agreed that I will have the final say in the naming of our child. This was a few days ago, and I haven't spoken to either of them since. I have asked around a few of my friends and have gotten a mixed response when I asked if I was wrong. Going to add the comment I made to the post, as some people may not have seen it. I just want to thank everyone sincerely for their input on my situation. Your kind words mean a lot to me right now. I've noticed a few questions about the situation that I'll answer now. Good, because I have some. I hope you answer some. Yes, my ex's partner was the one my ex cheated on me with. As I said in the post, the partner was a friend of a friend at first, but my ex and I share a lot of the same friends. We met in university and hung out with the same people. My ex started getting closer to her and would hang out with her more often. I suspected nothing. In fact, I was happy she was making more close friends. The reason I'm mostly okay with the cheating was the way I found out. My ex told me the day after they first slept together and explained her whole situation. She was in tears the whole time. I sincerely believe that was their first intimate moment, and she told me right away. Of course, I was devastated, but I could sympathize with her situation. I couldn't imagine feeling stuck in a marriage like that. She was my best friend, and as bad as it is to say, I do still love her. I just want her to be happy, even if it's with the person who destroyed our marriage. And about changing or flipping around the name, the partner made it clear she didn't want the name Samuel anywhere in the child's name. She refused to compromise on this. About the hating the closeted remark that she made, I questioned her at the time on how I was being that way, and her response was that by not budging on this situation, I was implying that her feelings and input were less important than my ex's, and that I was reducing her role as a parent due to her spicy proclivity. I thought it was BS at the time, but maybe this will change some people's minds. And about seeking legal advice, I'll be doing that this week. I really don't want to do this to my ex, and I have had a superb relationship since the breakup. And I would hate to sour it by getting lawyers involved, but it feels like it may be necessary if her partner is acting like this before the baby is born. Really quickly, your ex has just put all of this on you. I don't like that. And she's doing it so that she doesn't have to have the conflict in her own relationship now. But if it's what she wants, it should be what she wants. What is the co-parenting situation going to look like? I have so many questions you're not actually answering right now.
Yeah. And plus, like, to have the affair partner as, you know, as having them, like, as giving them a say in, like, what the baby's going to be named. No. You were the affair partner. You're not the parent. You actually aren't even involved in this at all. The only reason you're involved is because now you and my ex-wife are together. But, like, that doesn't mean now all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh, throw out this name. We're going with this one. Like, I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, also, Samuel and Samantha are two different names.
Yeah, they're also completely different.
Yeah, but like, the only thing I'll give her is that they would probably go by Sam.
My ex left me before she knew she was pregnant. She told me over lunch a few weeks later, and we were both excited. She always wanted children, and so did I. We were happy to co-parent, and all was smooth until this argument with her partner. There is an update.
I don't like the new partner. I agree with, like, everyone saying, like, you know, she doesn't have a say, like, it's not her child. Because I agree, it's, like, not her child. Like, obviously, she's going to be a step-parent. Now, if she ends up staying in, you know, the relationship, because it's not like they're married or anything. Like, this is just, you know, I don't even know how long they were dating before she, like, found out she was pregnant.
At least 9 months around, less than 9. It could be anywhere from a little bit more, a little bit less than 9 months.
Yeah. So, like, this is still very new. And she's like, oh, like, you're having a baby. I want to name it. Like, this is not our baby.
It's not even that it's like, I want to name it. It's, you can't name it that because it reminds me of my ex, which is stupid. Yeah, honestly, I think this is probably going to lead to them breaking up, which is fine. It should. I know if put me in this situation and they're like, absolutely not. And I'm like, well, no, that's their name. And they're just like livid and unable to change. I'm like, well, then I guess you're not going to be around when I raise them because their name is Samuel. Update. I was able to meet up with my ex today to discuss the situation, and overall it was positive and productive. We met for lunch, where the first thing she did was apologize for her partner's behavior. She agreed that she had no right to make demands like that. She also told me that her position on the topic of the name hasn't changed. She will honor the agreement we made and will stand by the decision to name our son Samuel Jacob. Over the course of our meeting, she did try to make excuses for her partner's behavior, though, which concerned me a bit. She tried to explain how her partner always wanted a son and thought that this could be her chance to be a mom, and was upset that the both of us were shutting her out of her dream. Oh, well, keep dreaming, sweetie, because it's not your kid.
You just got here. Slow your roll.
It could be your kid if you play your cards right, but the kid's name is Samuel. So you're going to have to live with that. I then reiterated that this was not her biological child and that she would be in the child's life, but in a step-parent capacity. And by the way, you can be our step-parents if you listen to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platform like iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. Please, I need step-parents. Oh, my goodness. I think we just go ahead and get into it. You're doing the right thing.
I think we've said it.
Do we think that she's going to break up? I don't think she will. I think they should.
Yeah, I think they should. I don't think they will, but who knows? I mean, maybe if this is like, the first of many issues, then maybe by the time the baby comes out, she's out. She's out. Baby comes out, she leaves, she's out, baby in.
I can't imagine being in a headspace where I've been in a relationship with someone for like 3 months to 6 months, and then it's like, yeah, surprise baby from their previous partner. And I'm like, but I should get to name it with you.
Yeah, it's just that it's like weirdly overstepping. And it's like, you just got here. I don't think you fully grasped the situation.
I told my ex I would be in my son's life. I won't be an absent parent. My ex then got defensive, saying that her partner wasn't trying to butt me out of my son's life. Rather, she just wanted a bigger part in it. I agreed that she could have a part in my son's life. I had no problem with that. But naming should be left to us. I'm happy enough to hear her opinions on schools and sports, but naming should be left to the biological parents. My ex again agreed with this, but asked me to be a bit more understanding of her situation. While at lunch, I also mentioned I would be seeking legal counsel, and she was fine with this. Overall, I'm happy with the meeting. She seems to be sticking with me on this, though I am concerned with the partner's behavior, acting like I was getting in the way of her dream. After reading some of the comments, I'm getting a bit paranoid that maybe she does just see me as a baby donor rather than a father. And that is the end of that story. Well, the new partner certainly does. Guarantee you the new partner's got no respect for you. You know how I know that? She was the affair partner. So automatically zero respect for you.
I mean, she thinks that not OP, but OP's ex-wife is going to take her side in anything, which, I mean, she kind of, it seems like OP's, the ex-wife was just not saying anything, was just letting them, hash it out. And it's like, girl, you're the one having the baby. Just say what you want, And she's like, oh, it's up to, she would say one thing to one person, then say another thing to the other. And so it's like, you're just playing, both sides, but you can't. You have to decide on this, and it has to be in front of both of them so they both know.
My daughter kept making everything hard for her stepsister, and I couldn't ignore it.
Stepsister, more like mess sister.
I have 2 daughters, Leanne, 19 female, and Lucy, 16 female. I adore my girls, but since I remarried Rebecca fairly soon after the divorce, they weren't impressed, especially since I gained a stepdaughter, Sophie, 18 female. I did my best, but they remain closer to their mother to this day, and when the lockdown first started, they wished to stay with her and communicate with me through technology. And there's a clarification. I did not cheat on their mom. And by the way, this comes from user throwaway number. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers to all the problems. We only have a limited knowledge base to work with. So let us know what you would do in the comments. My ex-wife, Sharon, has been struggling since the pandemic. Money is tight for both her and her boyfriend, Luke. And with them and both the girls, there's not a lot of space. Leanne, especially, is coping very poorly, and Sharon asked if I was willing to have her for a short while, apparently at Leanne's request. I was surprised by this, since she was the one who felt most negatively towards me after the divorce, and we recently had a big fight because she dropped out of university. So I agreed, knowing that it would be tough. But her behavior hasn't been acceptable. She's rude to Rebecca. She frequently takes clothes of Sophie's. She says she and Lucy share things all the time, but their relationship and attitudes to clothes is different. Sophie's wardrobe is essentially sacred to her for reasons I don't have the word count to explain, but can in the comments if deemed relevant. Leanne also makes a lot of noise, a symptom of her mother's household. She swears a lot and is messy and is very aggressive when she doesn't get her way or is rebuked for her behavior, particularly if it's Rebecca that says something. Tensions have been rising lately because Sophia was due to start university again today. Leanne and I fought about going to university, as I mentioned, so it was a delicate subject regardless. And with Leanne's noise disturbance, Sophie has found it difficult to concentrate on her prep work, so they've been arguing even more. Sophie bought a new shirt and necklace for her first meeting today. A new outfit for a specific event is Sophie's code for "I am stressed about this." The idea of an online term is quite daunting. Today she went to get dressed and found the blouse ripped apart and the necklace destroyed on her bed. She started crying. There was a big fight. Rebecca calmed Sophie down in time for her class, and I sent Leanne to her room and told her to stay there until her mother arrives to pick her up. Not just the vandalism, but the fact that she deliberately searched for the items she knew Sophie had chosen to calm herself down for her class is just too much for me. I've said I'm happy to take Lucy if space is still an issue, but Leanne can't live in my house if she's going to destroy her stepsister's property and make life difficult for everyone. Sharon, Luke, and Leanne all say I'm an a-hole for putting them in this position and not prioritizing Leanne because she's my daughter. They won't pick her up, so am I the a-hole? And there's an update. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. It's not your fault that she's acting like a weirdo.
Since Sharon wouldn't come get her and I didn't want her taking public transport right now, Leanne stayed the night. She didn't come out of her room, but Rebecca brought her dinner, and I brought her breakfast this morning. Pain au chocolat, which is her favorite. So, kind of a peace offering. I decided to take the advice of the comments about trying to parent her instead of just booting her out, especially since I had time to cool down. I told her that if she wanted to stay, there would have to be some ground rules. She needed to apologize to Sophie and pay her back the full amount for the items. If she wanted to borrow things, she had to ask politely first and accept the answer she was given. And she had to make an effort to clean up after herself and be polite and respectful around the house. Leanne agreed, and she went out to apologize to Sophie and asked her how much the items cost. This caused another big fight, because the blouse was expensive, and she didn't want to pay it back. Thank you very much for the comment about bringing it back to the absolute. I'll try and find it again, because that was very helpful. I said, it doesn't matter whether you'd pay that much for a shirt. You destroyed someone else's property and have to reimburse them fully, was repeated a lot. Leanne agreed, and although she was sulky about it, she's been better behaved for the rest of the morning and afternoon. She's currently playing on the Switch after asking Sophie, and has called Sharon to let her know that all is currently fine. Some other loose threads. I mentioned therapy in the conversation with her. I'll bring it up again with Sharon present probably, because I agree that it would be a good idea. She didn't seem opposed when I mentioned it. To all the people that are honestly angry that I helped Sophie redecorate her room because she was seriously ill, F you, honestly. It doesn't matter that she's not my blood. If you had a daughter, step, or otherwise in that situation, you definitely would have done what you could. As for her real dad, quote-unquote, doing it, trust me, her real dad is thankfully not allowed to see her. And there is another update. Do we think Leanne's gonna change for real? Could this be the moment?
I don't think it's gonna be like a defining moment, but I do think that, maybe she has learned the severity of what she does. And hopefully, it seems like she's making an effort, but
she's
also
a youngster, She's
Yeah.
18. She's living in a
Also, I think 6, 7, 8
blended
is making fun
family.
of me, and I'd like to say, I'm hurt. I can't even say with a straight face. Whatever, make fun of me all you want. Everyone does.
No, look, they said it was funny.
What's funny?
All is good now.
All right, that was funny.
You're funny.
I know.
Leanne has been living with myself, Rebecca, and Sophie for around a month now. Even though lots of people saw from where I was originally coming from and voted not the a-hole, Many Everyone Sucks Here voters gave me a bit of a wake-up call as to how Leanne was still my daughter, and I could try and parent her instead of just sending her back to her mother. So that's what we've been trying to do. During a row a week ago, Leanne destroyed an ornament of Rebecca's. I should clarify that it was in the heat of the moment and she apologized immediately. So while still inexcusable, it's better than what she did to Sophie. She apologized to Rebecca and they had a chat while they got into why Leanne breaks things when she's angry. Leanne says she doesn't really know. Her and I had a talk where I laid out the consequences of doing this later in life. She understands the severity of it, and 2 days ago, we signed her up for some online therapy sessions so she can try and work it out before it causes her a real problem. A lot of you suggested family therapy because Leanne has a lot of anger about the divorce. Sharon is flat out refusing to go. Thanks, Sharon. Hey, thanks, Sharon. Thanks for caring, Sharon.
Hey, Sharon. Thanks for caring, Sharon.
Your daughter needs therapy. Like, I say needs because it's a need. It's not like well, maybe it would help. It's like, oh, you don't want her to go to prison. Put her in therapy. This is the kind of behavior that puts you in prison in your 20s.
I feel bad because, like, especially with, like, kids who have anger issues, like, it's really hard because they don't understand why they do, like, why they react the way that they do. And, like, I feel like when I was little, I had anger issue. Oh my god, I would scream at the top of my lungs. It was crazy. I was very angry as a child and I would cause so much ruckus. But only to my family. Not in public, not in like anything. Like it was just to my family. So much grievance. I'm just that way.
Sharon is flat out refusing to go. If I bring it up more, she might soften on the idea over time, but honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if she never agrees. I will give the issue some time and see how Leanne gets on with the individual therapy. But I am preparing myself for the possibility of Leanne and myself going alone. It's definitely been difficult with its ups and downs, but I've been trying to step up, and I can really see improvement in her behavior. She's a lot less messy, and we don't usually have to remind her to clean up after herself anymore. And by the way, I'm going to remind you for the 1,000th time, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform, like iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime wherever you listen to podcasts. And we have a little bit more of the story to go. We're gonna read it right now. Are you ready to go?
I wanted to say, when people say like XOXO, which one are the hugs? Which ones are the kisses?
The hug is the
And
X
then
because
this is
your arms cross when you
And-
hug
yeah, and then
somebody.
this
Your
is the
arms cross
whole-
over each other. And
then
then
the
the
kiss.
O is the shape that your mouth makes. She has been making more effort about noise and is far more polite to Rebecca and Sophie. She's also agreed to do some family things that she wouldn't before. She joins us for Sunday TV nights, which are like a little tradition we do. And she and Sophie play on the Switch together sometimes now. I am very glad that I took the advice to try this because it's great to see her better adjusted and taking steps to improve herself. We also talked about her dropping out of uni. I was upset about it and even more upset that she didn't even seem to take it seriously. But Leanne said that she's actually been beating herself up about it. I was quite shocked because as soon as the conversation went down this route, she started crying. She said that me flipping out really upset her because it confirmed her own negative thoughts and that she was actually really depressed and uncertain about her future. We have been researching potential careers together, and she is less scared now and doing as much as she can to prepare for some of the things she wants to try once the pandemic is over. Thank you again for all the help, and that is the end of that story.
I told my sister to be like me, and she refused to take it seriously.
I'm like the best, so why would you not want to be like me?
My 34 female sister, 31 female, has always been jealous of me, put a lot of strain on her family over the years, especially because she tries to displace her feelings elsewhere. By the way, this comes from Jealous Sister is Sad. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Savannah.
I'm Keon.
But we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't know everything. We only know what we know, so let us know what you know, please. For context, I met my husband in college, and we were married 9 years ago. He's always been able to support our family of 6 to 4 kids, between 7 years old and 18 months. And I've been able to devote myself to my family entirely as a stay-at-home mom.
OP, you're the a-hole already
a-hole.
for
Yeah.
writing the story like this.
I not only take care of the family, but also go to PTA meetings and am involved in the school community as well. My sister, meanwhile, has none of this. She claims she doesn't want kids and has never been able to make a relationship work. She was in graduate school for a while, but claimed that it made her miserable. so she dropped out without even finishing a degree. She always says that she's focusing on her career, but what career? She has a job in an industry known for not making any money. Granted, she has a high-level position within her organization, but again, no matter how high she goes, she's never gonna make a lot of money. She also has been living with a male coworker for a few years now, even though they're not romantically involved. She says she isn't interested in a romantic relationship with him or anyone else, and that he feels the same way. Okay, that's totally fine.
Then what is the issue here?
Why are you judgy McJudgerson?
Can we get to the frickin' problem or what?
Recently, she came to visit. She was telling my husband and I and our parents about a conference that she went to recently and was excited because everyone there seemed to already know who she was. She had recently gotten a promotion. She started going on about it right after I shared how great my kids were doing in school, and it honestly felt very defensive. OP, you sound so exhausting.
Jealous. She sounds so jealous.
Yeah.
Like, you
OP's
can't.
like, my kids are doing really great. And she's like, oh yeah, like I got this promotion too. It's like, been also going great. That's how conversation goes.
Yeah.
And it felt very defensive. Like she was just trying to justify her lifestyle because my family was doing so well. It made me a little annoyed, but mostly sad for her. That night, I caught her video chatting with her coworker roommate. She has a stuffed dog that he gave her for Christmas named Harold. She was talking to her coworker as if Harold was an actual baby. Good night, roommate. I love you. I miss snuggling with you, while making the dog's paw wave. I was completely creeped out. It's not healthy to think of a stuffed animal as your own child, let alone talk to it like one. So she confronted her. She tried to laugh it off and said that it was just a silly thing she does with her roommate and refused to acknowledge the deeper issues there. There is no issue. I hate you. Anyway, I would love if you guys listened to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There's a little bit left, but you're the a-hole.
Yeah.
So just so like blatantly the a-hole.
Like, why do you have a problem with every single, like, she breathes wrong and it's like, oh, here we go again.
God, you're
How
jealous.
dare you breathe my air?
It's like, oh, I just got a promotion. There she goes talking about her job.
Yeah, like you're mad because she doesn't want to have kids or
'Cause
have a
she's just not
relationship.
you,
She might
and who
also,
cares?
be like a romantic or something. We don't
Yeah.
know. But there could be a lot of different reasons why she doesn't want a relationship.
Like, I could
None
understand.
of them concern you.
I could understand if she was like on like substances or like
Yes.
going out and like getting in trouble and whatnot. She's just living her life.
She's
and OP's
literally
just
living
like,
her life.
God, ugh. She just blinks so weird.
I got frustrated and told her that it was creepy to be jealous enough to pretend a stuffed animal was her child. And that if she wanted to be a mother, then she should have made that happen for herself years ago instead of ruining her chances at happiness by focusing on a job.
What?
Wow. God, you suck.
What?
You sound insufferable, OP. What?
She laughed at me in the moment and said, why would I be jealous of you? Later, my husband told me that he thought he heard her crying in the bathroom. Am I the a-hole for trying to give my sister a much needed reality check? I feel like she needed to hear that if she ever wants to have a real family and not just a literal toy that she pretends is a baby. You are the most a-hole that has ever ate in a hole. You're the a-hole of the day.
When you look up a-hole, there's
It's
just
you.
a big giant picture.
Yeah. You win the a-hole of the day. I think every day at the end of filming, we should pick whoever becomes the
A-hole
world's
of the
biggest
day.
a-hole of the day. And it's you.
The A of the day.
My brother wanted my wedding to be all about his kids. I won't let it happen.
I won't let it happen either. Screw the kids.
I'm getting married in October. My partner, 36 male, and I, 34 female, are doing a pretty casual wedding as basically 4 discrete events over a weekend. Hang at a brewery on Friday, an outdoor ceremony Saturday afternoon, friends DJ a rave at a bar Saturday late night, and all-day food and hangout at our house on Sunday. We have capacity for, if we push it, about 100 people, which means we're already not inviting a number of good friends. Importantly, Saturday night is child-free because, duh, it's a rave at a bar. We're arranging childcare for anyone who wants. Which brings me to my brother. By the way, this comes from Team Silly 3505, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. NOP says, when my half-brother had kids, he went from being a pretty jovial person to being incredibly controlling, condescending, miserable schmuck. Originally, I thought this was fallout from new parent sleep deprivation and anxiety, but his kids are in middle school now. One illustrative example was the year he tried to tell everyone that no adults could exchange Christmas gifts because Christmas should be about his kids only. My mom hid all the other gifts on the porch and tried to sneak boxes to everyone else behind her back. Clearly, my parents should have just said, "You're crazy." No. But we are a deeply non-confrontational family, so when he demands things, everyone else decides it's easiest to indulge him. I used to feel really bad that I was constantly effing up with him, even though I kinda knew he was being insane. He used a lot of therapy speak, and I always thought, gosh, it's all my fault for not meeting his clearly stated needs. But a couple of years ago, he laid into me in a truly unacceptable tone. It was not the first time, but it was the straw that broke Hamlet's back, thanks, in part, to my partner who was kind of aghast. I just stopped replying. I recognized I probably should have said, "I will not engage if you speak disrespectfully to me," but I just said nothing. I, too, hate confrontation, and so the standoff. We've exchanged maybe 3 texts a year, a brisk happy birthday type thing. Since then, I've done a lot of thinking about our relationship. I'm not saying I've been great, but I've tried to show up for him the way he wants. At his DIY wedding, I worked for days setting up tables and chairs, etc. I really suck with his kids, and I find them draining, but I have prioritized visiting him for a weekend at least a couple times a year, including when I lived on the other side of the country. I held them, read to them, and at least tried to play with them. We made cookies together. I got them gifts. When I moved closer, I actually tried to visit more often, but he rebuffed me because they were tired or busy. He, meanwhile, has met my partner 3 times in 4 years, all basically by accident because I happened to bring him with me to things. The only times he has visited me, even now that I live much closer, has been to drop his dog off so that I could dog sit. I guess he also met my partner then, but that's a 5-minute dog handoff. Not talking has been a relief, but I also felt bad, and with the wedding coming up, I asked for a call to talk through our issues. He dodged a few times. In the end, it wasn't just me. I said my piece as firmly but constructively as I could. That I'm sorry for not showing up in the way he wants, and for not communicating well about it previously, and that I'd like to build a relationship that works for both of us. But that the way our relationship has worked for the past decade is not that. I need him to make an effort, A, to communicate differently, and B, to actually make an effort towards me, too. This did not go well. He mostly reasserted his complaints. He kept calling my partner my chosen family, which, while literally true, contrasts with his own ask for his family, which he did not qualify as chosen, but is just his family. There were a lot of similarly invalidating moments. My issue with his tone is apparently me being overly sensitive to his feedback, and he's actually been holding back to protect me. Actually, he's the victim and has been dodging my ask to talk because he is so afraid I will go ballistic and I cut him off. Tell me how refusing to talk to me about why we're already not talking equals protecting our very existent relationship? Still, he ends saying he wants to try to fix things and we can each think about how to move forward. He then says my wedding invite was a slap in the face and pretty crappy to receive because his kids aren't included. And then a nice first gesture of goodwill from me would be to make an exception. I pointed out that they're welcome at everything except for the late night rave in a bar. This does not placate him. He tells me to talk to the bar about letting in his kids, and exhausted, I say I'll consider it.
Dude, what? You can't. No, kids are just not allowed in bars. Like, that's just, I don't know.
Especially not a late night rave bar.
Literally, like, they're just gonna get trampled. I don't even know why you would want your kids there.
Yeah,
like,
I could understand maybe a bar or restaurant. Like, I definitely sat at some bars with, like, a backwards chair as a
Oh, for
kid for a little
sure.
bit. But,
Yeah.
like, not a late night rave bar.
like a literal rager you're gonna bring
Yeah,
your kids
And
to.
you're telling me you're gonna watch your kids at this rager? Because I'm not, because it's my freaking wedding.
Why would you want to bring your
Right.
kids to a rager where people are going to be unsafe?
Right. I'm arranging childcare for anybody who wants it. They can come to everything else.
Literally. Like, I don't know. I would not have a good time if I walked in and there was like 2 8-year-olds. I'd be like, oh, what's going on here?
Honestly, maybe it'll help it be just your wedding party. Although it sounds like it kind of, like, I think they reserved the space, so it is just
Yeah.
their wedding party. But still. Shortly thereafter, I come to my senses. It's a rave in a bar. Kids should not be there. We literally cannot fit more people in there. So I text him a firm, calm message. My very even-handed partner read for tone. saying no, his kids cannot come to the bar. It's not an event for kids. And also, by the way, this is exactly the problem I was trying to talk to him about. His reply that I was being aggressive and having a blow up, and he's not interested in continuing to try to talk. He would prefer to keep things polite and limited instead. Now who's cutting people off? Now you might think that officially refusing to continue to speak with me and be polite and limited would mean he's not planning to come to the wedding, but I think he probably will if I don't actively uninvite him. Maybe he'll believe he's being the bigger person and showing up for family. Maybe just not to cause drama with our parents. Mainly, I think he'd feel self-righteous about extending himself for me. I do not think he'd have fun. And while I didn't want someone I wasn't really speaking to at my wedding previously, we hadn't, codified the situation. Now it's like we're really not speaking, and that feels even worse. I told my mom, who has also been losing her mind over him for years, but again, non-confrontational about this conversation, and said I didn't know what to do about him re the wedding. We are paying ourselves. She was like, gosh, that's awful, so upsetting. Well, just keep sending him the details, see if he comes. I said, no, you're not getting it. I'm not sure that I'm willing to have him there. She said, I can't even think about that, and hung up. Wow, that's a new level of, non-confrontational. You're not even willing to have conversation. That's not
Literally be a
confrontation.
parent. I don't understand. You're the parent in this situation. You have the authority to literally be like, hey, son, stop. I don't know. Stop being a jerk. Your kids aren't coming to a rave at a bar. I didn't know I had to spell that out for you. Sorry.
Yeah. Someone should have been telling you this stuff a long time ago, dude. Get over it. He was a good older brother when I was a kid and defended me against our dad, who was kind of an a-hole, and I feel nostalgic for that version of him. On the other hand, as my partner keeps pointing out, we haven't had a relationship for 2 years, and before that, we had a strange, terrible one. Am I really going to invite this a-hole and not invite another couple of people we were actually friends with? But I was raised on avoidance and non-confrontation. And I can't help but feel like if we hadn't talked, we might have continued in what was, sure, a pretty shallow and strained relationship, and we could have staggered onward with the hypothetical idea that someday things would improve. By the way, it's not hypothetical that you guys can go listen to more full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There's just a little bit left. You got any thoughts?
I don't know. I think, brother's stupid and annoying and just wants everything done the way he wants, and why no one has stood up to him for years, I have no idea. But yeah, I think OP, it's your wedding. You do what you please. Obviously, I'm sure did it say the kid's age? I don't think it did.
I don't think.
I would just assume
they're
that
in
they're
middle
young.
school.
Okay, yeah. So these kids are 8, 9, 10, you
Older
know.
than that. They're 11, 12, 13.
Oh, really? Middle
Yeah.
school? Oh.
You end 5th grade at 11, I think.
Well, still, these kids are young. I don't even think they would want to be there. They're just going to sit there in the corner being fun music.
Also, they were allowed to be at every other event. I don't know. At this point, you can always just uninvite them from the rave itself.
That's true.
Invite a different couple to that. But if you just don't want them there, pick a couple that you want there. I don't know. Doesn't seem like there's a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I would go with what your fiance or, soon-to-be husband is saying about, you really haven't had a relationship in 2 years, and you tried to fix it, and it actually got worse. So, obviously, he does not care to fix it. He doesn't feel like he needs to. It's not a priority in his life. And he literally said, I want limited and polite contact. Okay, cool. So that means you're not invited.
Yeah, and that's that.
And that's what limited and polite.
I still don't really want to not just slam but lock that door of a relationship with my brother. Not inviting him to the wedding feels like a final blow. Even if every time I imagine saying a polite and limited hello and thank you for coming to him at the wedding, I feel like passing away inside. I probably just need to bite the bullet and say okay, thanks for letting me know. Polite and limited is fine for me. Not sure if you're still planning on attending my wedding, but we are reserving that for people we are both on good speaking terms with, who are excited to celebrate with us. We appreciate you relinquishing your seats for people we will actually enjoy spending our wedding weekend with. And then Opie says, JK, I know that's too catty, but that's what I want to say. To be honest, that's still a restrained version of what I want to say.
Yeah, I want to hear all the stuff that's been building up for years. That's
Well,
the
you're
juicy
gonna
stuff, OP.
Yeah. You're going to snap one day if you don't just say it.
Don't deny us that. I want to hear everything.
But that is the end of that story.
I asked my 3 children to invest in my business. 1 took the risk.
And that is now my favorite child. You all are to me.
When I graduated college, I got a job in tech, and my girlfriend, now wife, upgrades, was pregnant with my first child. I wanted to open my own business, but the timing was crappy and way too much risk that I could not afford. So I accepted the job in tech. I never left the field as it paid well and let me do what's best for my family. By the way, this comes from Am I the A-hole Throw 11, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah.
And I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And Opie says, I had 2 more kids. Zoe, 32 female, Yale, 31 male, and Xena, 30 female.
Yes, and don't
Xena
forget
with an
about
X.
Cambridge. And
Wow,
a
they
br-
had them right
I,
after.
I named my kid Brown after
Yeah.
Brown University.
Married my girlfriend who wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and started saving for their college. I sort of accepted long ago that I would never be able to go into business. My wife wanted to save some more for the kids for after college. All of my kids got full ride scholarships to college, and I told them that their college fund would be given to them when they graduate. All of a sudden, I didn't have to work in a field I wasn't passionate about anymore. When Xena graduated, I really wanted to start my business. I didn't have much money sitting idle except our emergency and retirement fund. I was reluctant to touch them, but I needed capital. So I asked my kids if I could use their college fund. I warned them very clearly that this might backfire massively. I could end up losing all the money and I wouldn't be able to give them any money. Zoe had already bought a house. Yale didn't want to take the risk. Xena accepted. I wouldn't have held it against them at all. I slowly started my business, easy, because I was always passionate and continued to learn about it over the years. My tech experience has elevated my business model. This business was a hit around the 1-year mark and it continued to grow. The company grew exponentially when the pandemic hit. My business is now worth over $30 million compared to the $500,000 it started with. Recently, we acquired a new big project which would definitely make the company much bigger in the upcoming years, maybe 2 times or even 3 times the profits. When we had a dinner with all the kids and their families for my daughter's 30th birthday, I told her that this success belongs to her too, as her belief in me was what started it all. I said that it was her company as much as it was mine. After dinner, Zoe asked me about what I meant, and I told her about my current will. My wife would get 2 houses, one we are living in and a vacation house, which would give her a sizable monthly income. My personal assets and money will go 50% to my wife, and the other 50% will be split equally among the 3. But the company would go to Xena and only her. I think that's incredibly fair.
Yeah.
She was the only one who supported it.
Yeah, she's like, oh, you can take my money.
Xena and her husband are business majors and currently run their own business, which is also a bonus. This has created quite the drama in my family. From my point of view, she incurred all the risks, so she must reap all the benefits. However, my wife and my other kids disagree and everyone is fighting now. Greed really gets ya, you know? These people who fairly didn't want to support this very risky business venture are now not paying off, or not getting like the payout of this risk and are upset about this. You can't complain about not getting the lottery when you didn't buy a lottery ticket.
That's true.
Zoe and Yale pointed out that I said I wouldn't hold it against them, but that's what I'm doing. That's not at
Oh, I
all what
guess-
he's doing.
I guess, yeah, he did say, like, I would never hold that against you. But the thing is,
But
that I
giving
don't
them-
think that's
yeah.
holding it against them. That's just being like,
They're still
Well,
getting,
yeah,
like
like
50% split 3 ways.
yeah.
So,
It's just she gets the company.
yeah, which
So
makes
you
sense.
would, yeah.
My wife thinks the kids are right, and it looks like I'm playing favorites. Xena has just said that it was my decision and that she would accept whatever that turns out to be. Am I the a-hole? And we've got relevant comments.
Yes!
You think yes?
No, of course not.
You
Just
think
kidding.
yes? You tricked me. Yeah, I don't.
no, it's too small.
It's so small.
Hold
What is
on.
that?
What is that?
Do you know? I hope you do know. Ready? Bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, 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 bong.
Oh yeah, robots.
Upgrades, people,
Oh.
upgrade.
Classic movie. Loved that movie. Seen it so many times.
Upgrades, people, upgrades.
No, you're not the a-hole, as you said. I think it's like, not to do another metaphor or another example. It's like if you had the Shark Tank.
Simile.
Yeah, I know, but I'm giving an example, so it's
Simile.
more of an allegory. Most of the stuff is in my name, and my wife and kids are nominees. This is very common in my country. Consensus, not the a-hole, and we got an update. I called a family meeting over Skype. All 5 of us were there in the call. First, I apologized for how the news came out.
I did an acrostic poem for Yale,
Yeah.
and it says, "You are like Elon."
Yeah.
It's not a real poem.
It's acrostic.
It's acrostic.
I don't know what that means.
It just means you make a poem out of the letters. Also, it's
Watch,
still
I'm gonna
messed
do
up.
it for Xena. Oh no, Xena's hard.
Xylophones are
No,
not applicable.
not R. It's E.
Oh, it's E.
Xylophones enter nascent areas.
Nascent.
Enter nasal
Nasal.
areas.
Nasal asterisks.
Anyway, my children aren't greedy or entitled. They are responsible and kind. They need not have studied as hard as they did, as they could have easily used the money I had given them. Instead, they worked hard and got scholarships. Even after college, they worked hard and got good jobs and made good investments. If they hadn't, I would have continued my previous job to save more money for their future or to help them out. In a way, they all helped me do what I wanted to do. I told them that even now I can give them each 1/3 of the company and give Xena whatever she gave me with 25% interest separately. I asked them to answer me honestly one question. If the business had gone belly up, would they have split their money and given a share to Xena? Or would they have told her to accept that her investment was a risk? My children are not liars. They admitted that even though they are now well settled, back then they might not have given Xena any from their share. By the way, I hope you give us a share of your attention by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I mean, I don't think you're the a-hole. I think you were fair in all of this. I don't know. I don't
Even
see
more now.
Yeah. And plus your kids you're trying to like, make them understand, and they're like, oh, yeah. Also, I did an acrostic poem for Zoe. It says, "Zoints are evil,"
Now, that one didn't make sense, but I appreciate your creativeness.
Zooted off every Yartsky.
You guys are just
You're
making
welcome.
up words.
Zoints are evil.
You're welcome.
But we got a little bit left of this story, folks.
That was good. That was good. Zooted off the blunky. Okay, here we go.
In the end, I told them that they can decide what I need to do, and I would do that. Both of them said that Xena deserves it, and she would make the most out of the business in the future. They also admitted that they felt guilty for not helping me out, and it felt like I was pointing that out. I again told them that they all helped me in this, and that was not what I was doing. I apologized for the abruptness, but told them that I just wanted to show some appreciation towards Xena, not make them feel bad. I also reminded them that I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, but I was glad this was over now, instead of them thinking that I was angry or something after I was gone, and I couldn't have clarified any of this to them. All's well that ends well, I suppose. And that's the end. OP
Aw.
sorted that out really well.
Yeah. I did another acrostic poem
Oh, Lord.
for Peru.
Yeah.
This one says, "Paddle extra right."
Oomph. Sure.
This is how I feel about that.
You didn't listen to it.
But that's the end of
Ew.
that story, folks. My sister slept with my kid's father. Now she wants my sympathy?
Oh, no, not cool, sis.
I, 27 female, have 3 children with my now ex, Con, 29 male. 10 months ago, my sister, 26 female, confessed that she and Con had slept together the week before, and she said she regretted it and needed us to be okay.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
She told me it was a mistake, and she got caught up in the moment because she had a crush on Con, and she needed me to not hate her for it. By the way, this comes from Disastrous Chapter 57, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah.
Hey, and I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says that she loved me and wanted us to make things work. Con didn't even try to deny it. He told me he'd been sleeping around for years and that he slept with my sister more than once. Whoa!
Whoa.
So he's lying or she's lying? My sister denied it strongly. Honestly, I think she's lying.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
I don't think he has any, reason to lie about it, and she does.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, well, yeah, this happened. Sorry. And she's like, no, it didn't. Hey.
We talked about it. It only happened one time. My sister denied it strongly. I broke up with him immediately and told her to get lost. Whoa, wait, you all were still together at the time? Now ex. I thought I had read that in my head as ex and was like, oh yeah, that sucks. Like, she's terrible for sleeping with your ex. She slept with your current partner?
That just makes it a
Ooh.
huge, bigger issue.
Dang.
No.
I said I never wanted to see her again and that she disgusted and repulsed me, and I didn't care how bad she felt. I wanted her to feel bad. I wanted her to hurt, and she would never hurt as much as I was right then. So forget about me. I got checked after I broke up with Khan to make sure he didn't give me anything with all the cheating. I was negative for all STDs, and I'm incredibly thankful for that. With the amount of cheating he talked about, I'm still surprised I didn't catch anything. She ended up dating Khan because I rejected her, or that was the story she told others. She said she felt guilty and needed some good to come from this because clearly I would never give her the time of day again. And that's true. I swore to myself that I would not forgive her. Even through therapy, I have become more secure in the belief that what she did broke our relationship beyond repair. And regardless of whether it was one time, which I don't believe, or a full affair, it was wrong and will never come back from it. I really don't care what happens to her, and if she passes away tomorrow, I would not grieve or make an appearance at her funeral. Recently, my sister found out Khan had cheated on her, and he didn't only cheat, but he passed along some STDs and STIs, which, I mean, you're going to the, I don't know, pet store, and you're surprised that they have fish.
I mean,
I don't know about that analogy. That wouldn't.
I don't know. I couldn't think of one.
I was just gonna say what goes around comes around kind of thing.
Well, but like she's going to the pet store, Khan, and she's surprised that there are STDs there.
yeah.
What, you knew that he
This is
cheated
the
on your
only-
sister with you
again-
and multiple women.
This is the only guy on the planet.
Apparently.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I had to do it. I had to. There was no way around him.
Yeah. Doesn't that make sense? Love that.
I believe she's also waiting to make sure he didn't give her HIV. Although I can't say I paid enough attention to know if that was a big concern or just them being cautious. But she thought that experience would make me more forgiving of her.
Why?
She was wrong. She showed up at my place and I shut the door in her face without saying a word. She showed up at our brother's house while I was heading inside and he shooed her, but she told me how sorry she was again and how scared she was and how much she needed me. Tough. That sucks. I ignored her and kept going, and our brother told her she wasn't welcome. She tried again, and this time I did respond. I told her I do not care, and if anything, she deserves everything she got after what she did, and how stupid she was in the end. She told me she needed me and that she was scared. That's the thing. When you burn your support system, they're not there when you need them to support you.
She literally said, "I'm scared of touching the fire, but let me touch the fire again."
It
Yeah.
sucks. Like I've had friends who have gone through this. I've had friends tell me about, their friends, their relationships that have gone through this of these people pushing everyone away and then, being in a very difficult position, being in a very dark place and not having anyone near them.
It's just the fact of like those people don't think about anyone else in that
No.
situation. They're like, oh, like I really want to do this. Like I'm not going to think about anyone else. I'm
Yeah.
going to be selfish and think about just me, even though like this is not going to just affect me. It's going to affect everyone around me,
Yeah.
including my relationship with my sister, who I want a relationship with. Like
Mhm.
it's those people who just do not think.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh my God, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to do it like under the influence of something,
Yes.
but it's another thing to do it completely sober.
and constantly.
Multiple
Yes,
times, yeah.
multiple times.
But
And
then
that's-
also, she's like, "But I feel bad for it."
She's
Kind
like,
of.
you have to
Yeah.
be okay.
yeah, like that's just like
Yeah.
not okay in any situation
No.
at all.
I told her, just like when I found out my partner of 8 years and father of my children was cheating on me, And I could have used my sister, only she betrayed me as well by cheating with him. She said it was one time and she would have been there for me, and I told her I didn't want her disgusting self to touch me. Because I said that's how I saw her now, a disgusting backstabber. I told her I don't care if he's given her every STD under the sun because I want nothing more to do with her, and she can disappear in a hole for all I care. I haven't seen her since. Apparently, she's very distraught, and she's also the topic of gossip in our social circles. She lost most of our shared friends, and a few have shared a similar sentiment to me on her. But a couple have asked me if I don't even feel a little bad for being so cruel to her and turning her away a second time, even after all her apologies. None of her apologies mean anything, though. That's the thing. It's so hard to parse through what a real apology is when it is accompanied by request, by a need, by desperation. Because it doesn't feel like an apology.
Exactly.
They said they felt like I should have found a way to work through this because we were close for such a long time and sisters are for life, or whatever stupid crap they said. I don't feel guilty. I don't even feel bad for her or have any kind of empathy. Am I the a-hole? And there are some comments, which we will read in a moment. But do you have any other thoughts?
I mean, I hate that this is like a thing that people do.
Yeah.
And they just don't like think in the moment. And they're like, oh, well, I like, I like this person and I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
but the thing is, unless you are heavily under the influence, I almost never believe that they didn't think about that person.
For
you know?
sure.
Like
Yeah.
I find it so hard to believe, even when you are a little bit under the influence, that the thought didn't cross your mind to be like, there's gonna be consequences.
You're not
This is
thinking.
gonna upset.
Yeah.
She was likely banging him for ages, says comment 1. She doesn't care enough about you nor your kids not to be with one of the many women he cheated with. Karma's a witch. OP says, that's what I think. She still swears it was once, but even once is one too many times.
True.
That's wild, says another comment. She effed your husband, then told you the two of you needed to be okay. OP says she did. She kept saying she needed us to be okay. She needed me not to hate her, making it all about herself while she was tearing my whole world apart. Comment 3 says the father of your kids cheated on you with your sister and multiple other people. Your sister should have seen it coming. That man clearly sounds like he'd never even consider being loyal to anyone, so your sister was stupid and entitled to think that she'd be the one he won't cheat on. Also, why the heck would your sister think that you would forgive her for sleeping with your then partner just because she's scared and in need of you? Not the a-hole. OP says she was hoping I still had some love left for her, but she crushed that. Maybe she was also hoping the sympathy card would come into play. By the way, you should have sympathy for us and go listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story.
Donut agrees.
Does everyone have any thoughts?
I don't know. Donut sounds like she's
She's got thoughts. She's like, don't ever talk to your sister again. She's nasty. She's a nasty lady. That's what Donut said.
She's a nasty girl.
Comment 4. I would have cut her off and never talked to her again. OP says, I did it when I found out. Only reason I said anything was she kept showing up and I had hoped, and seemed to be right, that it would stop her. Which, fingers crossed, she stays away now. Comment 5 says, accident? Did she trip and fall onto his stuff? OP says, don't you just hate it when that happens? And that's the end of that story, folks.
hate when that happens.
Yeah, don't you just
I
hate?
just hate when that happens.
Not again.
Dang. Yeah, it always
Sister
gets
strikes
you.
again.
My in-laws gave my child a phone and refused to be responsible about it.
They gave her a phone with a big nuclear battery attached to it.
Hubby, 53, and I, 42, have a daughter, 13. He also has a son, 24, from a previous marriage, and 3 older sisters. I'll call them Sister 1, Sister 2, and Sister 3. By the way, this comes from Feisty Contract 3849. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in this situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, Sister 2 passed away in 2021. She had been living with my mother-in-law, and Sister 1 and 3 lived together as well. After Sister 2's passing, it was decided that mother-in-law, Sister 1, and Sister 3 would get a new house and move in together. One day, my daughter was out at mother-in-law's old house when they were packing up, and they gave her Sister 2's cell phone, which was still working. This caused a major issue because hubby and I felt that she didn't need a phone. We lived in a small town where she could walk to school and her friends' houses. If it wasn't close by, she was under the supervision of an adult that we knew really well. They said that her brother had a phone at that age, so she should have one too. Her brother had a basic kid's phone that only had a few buttons, not even numbers. It was because, at the time, his mother had not been responsible for her phone bills, so hubby wanted a reliable way to get in contact with her. Sister 1 and 3 decided to end the argument by buying my daughter a phone and putting her on their contract. Hubby made it clear that he was not okay with it and felt that she didn't need it, but if they did that, then it was all on them. He wasn't going to pay for it. They told my daughter that she could choose from 2 specific phones because they were free. Hubby did help her do the research, and she decided what phone she wanted. I went with them when they went to get her phone. I bought her a new case and a pop socket. My daughter has babied that phone. She's got a carry strap on it and checks her case regularly to make sure her phone is protected. So fast forward to now. We've moved to a more rural area. She can walk to a few friends' houses, but for the most part, she uses her phone to talk to everyone since they're so far away, including her old friends. She's also involved in more activities and is sometimes with people that we don't know at all because we need help sometimes getting her to and from activities. I feel at this point she needs a phone. Hubby does not agree. The issue at hand is with the 2 sisters. The phone is passing away. She turns it off at school and the battery will drop at least 50%. Many times she's not with us and her battery will be less than 5%. She doesn't always get the texts and more issues with Wi-Fi and mobile data than the rest of us. The first time this was brought up to hubby's sisters, they said that they weren't replacing it because supposedly my daughter and I had gone off and picked a whole new phone and it had cost them $100. Yeah, that didn't happen. We did go look around, but the only change she made was the color of the phone because the salesperson asked her in front of Sister 3. I was asked if we wanted a special plan on the phone because she was a kid, but I said no because I didn't want them to have that much control over her phone. I would have had to ask them to put new numbers on it, etc. They were called out on the lie. They then tried to say that we needed to put her phone on our plan, which even mother-in-law said wasn't a good argument because we had said no to begin with. Now the argument is that they never said they were going to maintain it. Hubby says he feels like it's a trap to force him to pay for a phone. He still feels like she doesn't need it. I feel like she does. The one person in the middle is my daughter, with neither side budging. My daughter is sad. She knows that the way things are going, she won't have a phone for long. She already has anxiety and mild depression, and I think this is making things worse. If I buy a phone and add it to our plan, it will cause a huge issue in the marriage. I feel like my only recourse is to just add her to our plan. I have to consider her mental health as well in this. Maybe I'm missing something. So I'm here to ask some outsiders what they suggest. And we do have an update. But what do you think, Dakota?
I already told you, get the walkie-talkie, man.
Yeah, get the walkie-talkie. I also wonder...
She's 13. She's going to be so
Yeah.
cool if you get her a walkie-talkie. I swear, dude. Get her a walkie-talkie.
I wonder what she's got on her phone because sometimes phones, if you're on there too much, they can cause anxiety and depression. So maybe that's the issue.
Yep. You know what's never caused anxiety or depression? Walkie-talkie.
Walkie-talkie. Honestly, I feel like it's cured. There's an update here. I want to address a few things first. A time limit for how long this would go on was never addressed. My daughter even offered to pay for her own phone from her savings, and no one is okay with that because we want her to save it. Adding her to our plan is a financial issue. Not huge, but one that we haven't budgeted for yet. The battery issue isn't the only issue, so while a power bank would help, it won't fix everything. That being said, yesterday my daughter and I were out. We talked about the phone issue. She even offered to give up her allowance to pay for the phone and said that she preferred to be on our plan. We were near our local phone store, so we stopped by. We found out how much it would cost to add her to the plan. After leaving, she looked defeated, then said that she could start babysitting and use all that money to pay for it. I told her that I would talk to her dad when we got home. She ended up talking to her dad as soon as she could. He told her that he'd think about it. Apparently, he had talked to her the day before about it, and she had expressed her feelings about the matter. And I'm going to express my feelings and let you know that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever you choose. Just search Uncle Story Time, and it would make me feel great. Between the two conversations, he has agreed to put her on our plan with a new phone. If she gets babysitting jobs, she can pay towards it with some of what she earns, but she's not losing her allowance. She doesn't know this, but we'll put whatever she gives us into her savings. Oh, what a good choice. I was already looking at getting a second job. I work for a school district and don't make much. I was looking at something on the side to start saving more or maybe not have to work as much over the summer. Hubby can't get a second job because of his disabilities. Anyway, the issue is resolved. My daughter will have a new phone by the end of the day.
My ex's wife demanded I let her be my son's co-parent. I said no.
Why do you want to be the co-parent so bad?
I, 30 female, have a 9-year-old son with my ex. We were together for 3 years when I got pregnant, and our relationship lasted until our son was 1. The reason we broke up is because he did nothing for our son, and he showed no interest at all in being a dad.
Oh,
It's a terrible thing to figure out after the fact.
makes sense.
By the way, this comes from Holzov Momsk. And if you want to submit your own story, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments.
I wish there was a way to test if someone would be a good dad.
Dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually. Pet. Honestly, I think dog is better than like a cat because you have to do more work with a dog. But OP says, for the first year after our breakup, he showed no interest in seeing our son at all. He told the judge he didn't want to see our son more than once a month. He was given every other weekend, but stayed true to his wish for once a month. And he did not see him as much as the courts allowed. The courts ordered child support, and his wages were garnished. He told me I needed to stop taking his money. And I told him he owed money for our son, and our son deserved to have the financial stability the child support gave.
That's how it works. You
Yep.
don't.
Shouldn't have had the kid if you couldn't pay the money.
Ah, no, you were close.
The bid.
You shouldn't have had the kid if you couldn't pay the bid. Yeah.
He then started taking our son both of his weekends, and he filed for 50-50 custody with a stop to all child support payments. I feel like he's not actually going to spend time with the son. He just doesn't want to pay.
What? No, he wants to step up as a dad.
I don't
What do you
think
mean?
so.
This has nothing to do with money.
He's never shown any other signs that he's just money hungry.
Yeah, come on.
I filed to keep things as they were, but the judge issued a change to custody and child support because at that point he had been 8 months involved, at least to appearances. And the judge said they always hope 50-50 would be available for the sake of the kids. My ex did not use his parenting time, however. For something like a year, he had his mom taking care of our son during his parenting time, and then he had a girlfriend he never told me about doing. They broke up, and it was back to his mom. Then he met his wife. He married her quick, and all of a sudden, she was the person taking care of our son when he was with his dad. He literally just didn't want to pay child support.
He didn't.
Can we go back to the court
Can you? I mean,
and say he's not actually taking care of the kid?
props to this guy though. He's found a system.
Yeah, he's like,
to-
Mom, new wife, new girlfriend.
Yeah.
Keep him coming.
He's found a system to not pay child support and
To
then have
automating it.
someone take care of his kid.
I guess so. Even before she came into the picture, my son was upset that his dad didn't make time for him. He used to come back from his dad's parenting time and ask me why his dad didn't want to spend any time with him. He loved his grandma and he loved spending time with her, but he said he never saw his dad, and his dad didn't come to nothing. I got my son therapy to help him process. But once my ex got married, my son hated his dad's house. Not only was he not getting time with his dad, but it was a stranger and not his grandma taking care of him. My son witnessed drama between my ex, his ex, and wife because the ex, who I didn't know about when she was with my ex and taking care of my son, came back while my ex's wife was pregnant. There was a lot going on, and my son saw his dad make time for everything and everyone else, but him.
Oh, no.
My ex's wife tried to build a relationship with my son, and she tried to make herself my co-parent and point of contact for their household. My son didn't bond with her, and I did not want to deal with anyone but my ex. I wanted him to be a father, and I hated that my son was supposed to be with his other parent, but wasn't. My son never bonded with his half-siblings either, and his hurt grew when he saw his dad pay some attention, but not a lot from the sounds of it, to those kids. He used to ask frequently if he could just stay with me, but custody was 50-50, and my ex taking his time was all the judge cared about. Which is why I went to my ex and offered to keep our son full-time and keep the no child support payments going. I told him I will not ask for him to pay a single thing. My ex eagerly agreed. He acted like it was the best news I could have given him. That is crazy. How is a judge letting this slide? Ridiculous.
This is one.
Yeah.
He's getting money on the side.
Yeah, he's just that's what the dad's paying.
Mm.
He's not paying child support. He's just paying the judge.
Yep, keep him
Hold on.
happy.
He's like, here you go, judge. Another 10 for you.
$10?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
just $10. He
Cheap
doesn't have to pay a
judge.
lot. Yeah, judge is like, I'll buy a coffee. My ex's wife was unhappy about it though. She took offense to me making the offer and told me I should have consulted with her. Huh? You're not mom or dad. You're nothing.
Well, she's the only one that's like, taking care of business. Which
On one
sucks.
side, yeah.
Because, I don't know, she doesn't need to be.
She shouldn't be. And I should have factored her and her children's feelings into this. Her children were/are very young and won't remember my son. I blocked her after an onslaught of texts came in from her that were all hostile. A few months later, she reached out on a new number and apologized and asked for us to set up visitation a few times a month so my son can spend time with her and her kids. She told me she tried to see him when I let my ex's mom see my son, but my ex's mom won't allow it. She said the kids should grow up together and she misses my son and loves him and wants a relationship with him.
Okay.
That is up to your son completely.
That is. Yes. Because, I don't know.
He's like 10 now, probably.
Yeah, that's really hard to force something with like a stranger
Yeah.
when all he wants is like time with his dad.
I spoke to my son's therapist and we talked to my son a little, and I said no to stepmother's request with the support of the therapist. My son did not bond when he was at his dad's house, and he's going to be hurt realizing his dad still lives with and has a relationship with them. Not to mention the fact he simply doesn't miss them back and has not expressed any interest or wish to have them in his life. My ex's wife told me I was selfish and this was not what's best for my son. Are you a therapist too?
I think
Otherwise,
she's working on it.
yeah, she's like, I have been spending all of this time trying to become a therapist for your son.
Goodness gracious. This poor woman. And, dude, I don't know what this woman's about, but she's in a bad situation too.
Yeah, she has kids too that are probably also being neglected.
Oh, boy.
And I should think about how his life as an only child will be worse than his life as a sibling. But I don't agree, because not all siblings are close or will be there for each other. Not to mention, it can be toxic in the wrong circumstances. And we've got some comments. Comment 1 says, not the a-hole. I think it's very telling your ex-mother-in-law won't let her see your son when she sees him. Something is amiss. And OP says, she knows how my son feels and doesn't want to alienate my son from her. Comment 2 says, I hope he gets to spend lots of time with his grandma for him, but also because you deserve the support too. OP says he does. He loves his grandma and she adores him right back. Comment 3 says, what did your son's therapist say? OP says, she supported saying no to his stepmother's request. She did say if he ever changed his mind, I should be open to supporting contact, but it would do more harm than good to force it after everything. By the way, I'm not forcing you guys, but you should listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. We've got
Good.
some comments.
Good. I'm glad that you were able to take the step and he just doesn't want to pay money for his kid.
That's it. And you should be protecting your son and keeping him away from that guy, because that's not his dad. That's just a guy. And, your son has you and his grandma actually in his life. So I think that's, he's got good people. Comment 4. Go back to court and get him back on child support if you have documented proof that he hasn't seen his son for a long period of time, and get the 50-50 custody changed again. OP says, I'm not going to get child support ordered again. The second I file, he'll start taking his time again. My son does not deserve to be made to feel unwanted and unloved by his dad over there. That's why I agreed to no child support. He deserves the money, but not at the cost of his mental health. My ex has already played that game and won before, and I won't keep doing it. We can do good on what I earn, and that will have to do. I'm not going to change my mind about that after seeing what his dad taking the time was doing to him. And comment 5 says, that's why you have his therapist testify the treatment your son got. He's a POS that shouldn't get away with this. OP says it won't mean he gets no visitation, and any time at my ex's house would be damaging to my son. He'll have to be there with his dad, paying no attention to him and seeing his dad pay attention to others. I couldn't do that to him for the money. He has never physically laid a hand on him, and he's taken care of because of my ex's wife. That's what the courts will take into account more than the therapist saying it harms him emotionally. Yeah, unfortunately, I think the best solution here is for you to just pay for everything and cut his dad out.
This kid's got a world of hurt in front of him.
Yeah, but he is a therapist, so that's good.
I funded my stepdaughter's wedding. She chose someone else to walk her down the aisle.
Guess I'm taking that money back.
I-49 May will keep this as short as possible, but basically my stepdaughter, 25 female, wants to marry her boyfriend, 25 male, which was fine and all. I had the money to pay for the wedding. What could possibly go wrong? By the way, this comes from user throwaway scam 200k. Oh. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily. We don't all have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments. As Opie says, her father, 54 male, has never been in the picture her whole life. He was an irresponsible man, and he never took care of his daughter. Never paid child support, according to my fiance anyway. My stepdaughter was never rude with me and always showed respect, so I always showed respect for her and bought her all the necessities she needed. Maybe too much. Now looking back, I'm an effing ATM. What was I thinking? Anyways, since I'm paying for a 200k wedding, I just asked for my mother and her 2 step-siblings to receive invitations since they are her siblings. My fiance and daughter were like, cool, we will. Now obviously, this could be a mistake, but invitations came around. My stepdaughter informed me that she didn't want any children at her wedding, but that seemed odd to me because my fiance's sister children were invited, so why wasn't her own siblings invited? I asked her, and she said it was just a mistake. Probably a red flag. But we move on. A few days later, my daughter-in-law comes to my house, and a question was asked by the in-law targeting my daughter, asking who's going to walk her down the aisle. My daughter announced it was her irresponsible effing clown of a father. My fiance was in shock from her announcement, and my daughter kept going on about how they've been in touch and the fact that he's her true father. And at that point, I lost it. I announced that her real father can pay for the wedding. He can't. Since I'm a check for my stepdaughter started screaming at me, and all the guests left the house. My fiance wasn't too happy, stating that I humiliated her in front of her in-laws, and the fact that they spent a year planning. I stated that I wasted 200k on an ungrateful brat, maybe an a-hole for this, and spewed insults towards her father. As you can tell, I have hatred towards that man. So, am I the a-hole? We have an edit.
Yeah, low-key, yeah. But like, only for parts of this.
Yeah.
I understand your rage over the $200,000 that you spent.
You let your emotions get the best of you for sure.
Exactly. Especially in public. That is a conversation that you could have had privately and expressed that you were disappointed that she wasn't including you when the father hasn't been in the picture and you have, and you've contributed monetarily so much. But you should have had that in private.
Yeah. And also, maybe you can have been like, am I getting the father-daughter date?
Yeah. You know, like, I've been in your life. How am I being recognized?
Yeah. I'm paying for this. What
Yeah.
What am I getting out of this? Am I just really getting nothing? But the thing is, you've been her father pretty much her like a lot of her life. So who knows? It should have been more of a conversation of like, why are you picking him over me?
Yeah.
Not like yelling at her and, I'm spending 200k on this. This is my wedding.
It just feels so like icky He had another story where I can't remember his name. I feel like it was Kevin or something. I don't know. Or Robert. I don't know. But he was a stepfather who had always been in the OP's life, and then OP decided to go with her father, and the stepfather was really hurt. Didn't have this type of reaction, but was just very hurt.
Yeah.
And then OP realized she made a mistake and should have included the guy.
We've had a lot of these where, especially it's the bride to be, and it's very similar. Like their dad was out of their life, or the stepfather, whoever, and it's like it's their wedding, their decision, but they should at least give reasoning to.
Yes. However, we could have got that reasoning just by talking to her. And maybe you still would have had the same thought process of, I don't want to pay for this wedding anymore. But it would have been a more reasonable conversation, a more,
a more adult.
A more adult conversation. This felt pretty immature.
Yeah. I don't like, again, we don't get the full picture because we're only getting it from OP's perspective. But again, he's like, I've been treating like an ATM. She just uses me for her money, for my money.
Like you're also gifting this money.
Yeah. There is an edit. OP says, I want to clarify a few things briefly. Just because you saw a similar story or situation doesn't mean whoever the stepfather was, the only person to be in this situation. Secondly, my stepdaughter told me I would walk her down the aisle, then proceeded to lie and humiliate me in front of the guest. Thirdly, a few people asked why I laughed it off. Whenever I'm in a bad situation, I just like to laugh it off like Spider-Man, I guess. We got an update 5 days later. Lots of crap has happened these past few days, and we have much to talk about. I probably should have mentioned this in my previous post, but I had nothing to do with the planning, nor did I want anything to do with the planning. It was all my fiancé and stepdaughter planning. Well, a lot of you were concerned with the price of the wedding, and you guys made me concerned too. So, as some of you suggested or requested, I asked my fiancé about the planning of the wedding, and I came to the conclusion that from asking that I've just been a check to my fiancé and stepdaughter this entire time. In the planning, the actual wedding itself would cost $40,000, which I can understand as there are over 400 plus guests. We are South Asian. And the rest of $160,000 was spent on a honeymoon to Dubai.
Okay. OP, I've got to admit, this is kind of on you. Because who just lets someone use $200,000 and not question anything about where that is going? You must have so much money to not even question where the money is going.
That's what I'm saying.
You gave them a blank check. Like, yes, they are a-holes for just spending that money like this, but you gave them the blank check.
You said, here's the credit card, do whatever, have fun.
Also, $160,000 to Dubai.
What are they doing in Dubai?
Dubai is the most expensive city in, I think, the world.
Yeah.
Why are we going to Dubai?
Because daddy's money.
Yeah, they have $160,000 to spend.
Yeah. In this list of people, it contained my fiance and her sister's family, my stepdaughter, her man along with his parents, and the invitation disgusts me. Her irresponsible effing father. At that point, I went ballistic. I never agreed to pay for the honeymoon. Only the effing wedding. And a honeymoon is supposed to be for the newlyweds, and my fiance said this so calmly without any regret and expected me to be okay paying for other people's holidays. And how she could possibly be sane to think it was calm and rational, a rational idea to invite the man who she claimed refused to pay child support and was verbally, I lost my cool and effing told her that she and her daughter took advantage of my money and was selfish to leave her 2 young children alone with me. I work 45 hours at my business and decided it would be a good idea to invite her terrible ex who would literally try to lay his hands on me years ago. She responded by saying it was her daughter's idea. I then replied to her and said, you and your daughter have 7 days to get out of my house. And she started her circus act, but there was no going back. I then began the process of moving forward. I changed all my card pins so no more of my money can be used, and I began the refund process. I contacted the venues, and they were actually really nice and offered a refund, but it will take a couple working days, maybe weeks for a refund. As for the tickets to Dubai, well, let's just say I'm a lucky witch, as I was able to refund the tickets, $75,000, since I was still in fair conditions while the tickets were unused, which brought excitement to me. It hurts so much thinking how these people who haven't worked as hard as I have thought it would be a good idea to use my money on first-class tickets to Dubai. And by the way, you have a first-class ticket to listening to full episodes of stories just like this one. Just go to your favorite podcast app, such as Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and search up OK Storytime. There's a little bit left.
These people are a-holes, but you need to have learned a lesson about monitoring where your money is going.
Yeah, I don't think it was an a-hole move to get a refund of your money, especially the way the things
that you
transacted.
have found out what they paid
at
for
the very end there, and you've been lied to. Get your money back.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, I think moving forward, maybe get an idea of what your money is being spent and where you're putting your money.
You could
which
even
you probably will
like
be.
get an assistant. I mean, with the amount of money that you must be making, working like 8 or 9 hour work days, 5 days a week, you've got to be making a lot of money.
It's a lot of moolah, but hopefully, maybe her actual father can pay for her Dubai trip.
Crazy.
Let's go ahead and finish up this story. My fiance told her daughter that I refunded the wedding, and she didn't take it well. I won't go into too much detail, as I have talked long enough, but I was petty at the end, and I said that her real dad can pay for it. This has been a crap show of a couple days. I can't see my 2 young children every day now, and I have lost my fiance. But some good news, my oldest son, 25 male, gave his newborn son my surname, which made me smile. At least someone appreciates me. And we have an edit here. I'm going to take my kids to Dubai. Who doesn't love petty revenge?
Genuinely, what because I don't know, this is an actual question. What is there to do in Dubai?
Oh, there's a lot.
Like, what do you do there? I just know it's like the richest city in the world.
It's
or the
just
most
like
expensive.
they have a lot of things over there. Like, obviously, you can get really expensive cars, but they have like really, really fine dining. Obviously, it's just like
is this things that you bring young children to?
Yeah, I think there's definitely like amusement parks and everything like there.
I'm not taking my even if I had the money.
My parents guilted me for moving an hour away, so I moved across the country.
Now I'm moving further.
5 years ago, I, 33 female, had a bad divorce with 2 small kids. Father is not in the picture and will likely never be as it stands. I temporarily moved in with my parents to go back on my feet. In that time, my parents, kids, and I relocated across the country. By the way, this comes from Tough Canary, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we might do in this situation, so let us know what you would do in the comments. NOP says, once here, we got a house to share and split everything 50-50. My parents are retired and have not made efforts to branch out. I've gotten a grad degree, friends, a great job. After 3 years of being single and focusing on my kids, I began seeing someone more than a year ago. He, 35 male, has a great career, excellent with my kids, and we're discussing marriage. Oh, wow.
Wow.
In the past months, my boyfriend, kids, and I moved in together, and we're happy. In the past, there were boundary issues with my parents. While my dad let me parent, my mom was very critical. I feel I'm a devoted parent, and other friends and family tell me that I do a great job. My mom crosses boundaries often, and it's been noticed many times by my friends and family. She can be controlling and is used to us abiding. An example would be calling me crazy and being very upset that I took the kids on vacation 5 hours away. They had a blast. Now, an opportunity has presented for my boyfriend and I to relocate to a smaller town 1.5 hours away. My boyfriend is successful in a unique line of work that's very geographically limited and has turned down offers to live abroad, petitioning for a location closer to where we are now so my kids can stay close to family. This move is not entirely optional for him to maintain his position. My job is flexible. The town has good schools, is safer, and has easier living. The kids are excited and had no concerns like seeing their grandparents less days per week. My parents would go from seeing the kids before and after school to on the weekends. I broke the news to my family and they are furious. I assured them that we'd be back to the city almost all weekends and they could visit anytime. They told me they never would have moved here if they knew that we'd be an hour and a half away. They were devastated and felt used and mistreated. I never would have accepted their help if I knew I'd be expected to live within a certain radius indefinitely. I feel like I owe them for their support when I was going through the worst time of my life. I love my parents and will be forever grateful for their help. Right now, their weekday revolves around the kids, and they don't have hobbies, friends, or jobs, so I know it's an adjustment. I feel this is the best move for us, the kids, our careers, and peace of mind. I see a future with my boyfriend. He fought to be close to us and is committed to me and 2 kids that aren't biologically his. Am I the a-hole for relocating? And there are some comments, but what would you say, Sophia?
No.
Yeah.
These are your parents, which, understandably want to have you near.
Yeah.
But you're not a child.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if they are feeling, upset that they maybe did a big move to be closer to you and now you're moving, I could see how that's frustrating. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you just can't move ever again because they had that expectation. They
just got to move again, I guess.
Yeah, so if we all have to move again, we all have to move again.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It's like the risk you take when you move somewhere to be with someone. They
Yeah.
might not want to be there anymore.
Yeah, I can't really
Yeah.
rely on someone to stay the exact same for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
So, we do have some comments though. Comment 1 says, not the a-hole. An hour and a half drive really isn't that much of a burden. Opie says, my thoughts exactly. It's an adaptation thing. We moved from a small, congested area to a huge one. I got used to the fact that most people here think nothing of driving 2, 3, 4 hours for various reasons. My parents are used to being most places that they need to go in 15 minutes.
That's crazy.
Also, I volunteered to do all the driving as we'll need to be back in the city often for other reasons anyway. Mainly for the grocery deals, lol. We do have an update here, but yeah, I mean, I get it. If you've made your life, you like how it was, things are changing, you're not gonna like it. But you can't control other people, though.
No, you can't.
It's like the weather,
If
you know?
I could, all of my friends would live right next to me.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Take the whole block.
you can't, like, move to New York and say, like, oh, wait, I actually don't like when it snows here.
Yeah.
New York's not going to stop snowing.
It's all of my friends.
Yeah. They're upset with all
Yeah,
the
all of
weather.
my friends who are from LA who have moved to New York are like, I don't like when it snows here. Like, well,
we do have an update, though. Long story short, not only did we not move an hour and a half away, we ended up 1,500 miles away.
Whoa.
When the pandemic affected both of our jobs, the original move from the original post never happened. After the reaction I received to that move, when the time came to discuss options after our world turned upside down in 2020, I didn't have the capacity to account for anyone's wishes but mine, my partner, and my kids. Trying to placate others with the original move got me nowhere, and things actually got worse with the control and disrespect. I started looking at the situation critically and realizing how damaging it was that my life as a grown adult was an apparent open forum for the whole family. While I never wanted to hurt them, I also saw the writing on the wall if I kept allowing that dynamic. One day during the quarantine, I had a major realization. I didn't want to grow old and look back on a life that I didn't recognize. I had made so many decisions by default. People-pleasing and letting myself be swayed from what would be best for me by other people's interests. I didn't want to live one more day compromising. By the way, you don't have to compromise by listening to full episodes of stories just like this because they're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. Just search OK Storytime. There is more to the story, but yeah, that is so fair.
yeah,
Pandemic made a lot of realizations like that about
absolutely.
how you want to spend your time. So yeah.
Not doing Zoom theater. That's for sure.
Oh,
Learned
is
that.
that what you were doing?
No, so much.
Oh, that sounds awful.
It was. I was like, wow, I am a terrible actor. And then I was like, oh no, it's just Zoom theater.
It's just acting is not meant to be over FaceTime.
No, it really isn't. Shockingly.
But there is more to this story. We ended up moving to a beautiful city and getting jobs with a lot more security. We bought our dream house. The kids are thriving. I stopped living trying to please everyone else. I received a huge amount of blowback, but stood my ground. I cut back contact majorly, started talking to a counselor. I had no idea how badly everything was affecting me, and I feel so much better.
Yay.
I don't know why I felt compelled to post again. I guess it's part gratitude for Reddit helping to affirm what I felt and giving me the guts to change the way things were going. Another part is hoping that anyone reading this in a similar situation finds the strength to change. If you are an adult making healthy and safe choices for your family, please don't let yourself be manipulated by others' motives. Don't allow unspoken social contracts to guilt you into situations that make you anything less than happy. And that's the end of that story.
Lovely.
A beautiful note to leave that on.
Yeah, live your own life. Gotta go your
Yeah.
own way, as they say in High School
Exactly.
Musical.
Exactly. You just got to.
And when your parents say, "What about us? What about everything we've been through?"
Yeah.
You say, "What about trust?"
What about? I don't know the rest.
Yeah, you know, I never meant to hurt you.
Yeah, I never meant to hurt you. Exactly. Exactly.
I refused to help take care of my ex's sick kids because they have norovirus.
That's a fair reason.
Yeah, you
That's
don't
a
want to
fair
get
reason.
the poopy barfy disease.
Ay, ay, ay.
Hi, folks. I have had a volatile relationship with a single mother of 3 kids for 2 years. There's a lot of love between us, but lots of cultural issues, old trauma, and insecure attachment styles got in the way between us, and it's been a hard road. By the way, this comes from user OKFly4329 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, recently it all got too much, and we split up. We were both clear that we loved each other, but it wasn't working. We have a relationship therapist, and we both seemed keen to stay close and work on it with our therapists in the hope that we can make it work. 2 weekends ago, we spent the day together on this Saturday, and it was a good day. It felt like a date to me and had a lighter energy together than we'd had in a long time. She raised the idea of going on a short vacation together, and I stayed over at her place until Sunday morning to have breakfast with her and her kids. They were away Friday evening to Sunday morning with their father. The breakfast on Sunday morning was also good, but I went home soon after as I had a lot of things I had to get finished before that Monday. One of which was preparing for my dog to go to the veterinary hospital for an operation I've been waiting on for 2 months, which was happening on Monday afternoon. On Sunday night, my ex-partner's son started vomiting.
Oh, no.
And it turned out that one of her other kids was vomiting the previous day, and their father had neglected to tell my ex-partner for some reason. Soon her ex-husband reported he was vomiting too, and it looked almost certain this was norovirus. For those who don't know, norovirus is a very highly contagious virus that causes 1 to 2 days of violent vomiting and often diarrhea, and then fortunately stops as quick as it started. It's extremely unpleasant. Oh, you don't say. But not life-threatening unless someone is compromised, and I have had it before. Sadly, this gives limited resistance as it also mutates quickly. At this point, my ex-partner had to deal with a night of her son vomiting everywhere while I stayed at my house waiting to see if I had caught it. I was quite anxious about not being able to take my dog for his operation if I had caught the virus, or taking him and then not being able to pick him up and having to leave him at the hospital on his own for days, as you have to isolate yourself for 48 hours after the symptoms pass so that you don't give it to other people. The appointment had taken 2 months to come through, and I was worried he'd be in pain for another 2 months if he couldn't go this time. I don't have any family or friends around who could help me with this, unfortunately, as I moved away from my home city to be near my ex-partner while we were still together, of course. I also don't get any sick pay from my job. I discussed all of this with my ex and asked her what I could do to help that wouldn't involve exposing myself to the virus. Primarily, I offered to get her whatever supplies she needed and bring them to her house whenever she wanted. She wanted me to take some of the bedding her son had vomited on away and wash it. I have a larger washing machine and a dryer, but I didn't want to do that because it would expose me directly to the virus. Yeah, and also I don't want your son's barf in my laundry machine,
Yeah.
please.
So she can't do it because she doesn't have a large enough machine?
I think maybe she just also feels very sick and barfy and is in need of assistance.
Which sucks.
but also, like-
you can't ask people to expose themselves.
Yeah, I think maybe you just throw all of the barf linens in a bag and throw them in the garbage.
You can't just throw them out.
I think you can if you get norovirus barf all over them. I think it's just, you call it quits,
I'm done.
you know?
I'm done.
I threw up on something once and I said, I don't want to have this
you just
anymore.
threw it out?
Yeah, because I threw up.
You just threw
I don't
it
want
out?
I don't want the memory of the throw up on my. It was
You're
in.
wild.
Oh, look, okay, if it was something, just very quick here, if it was something that I was like in love with, I probably would have washed it, but like it was like a nothing article of clothing, and I'm like, yeah, this is the easiest way here is to just throw it away.
I guess so, if it doesn't spark joy.
oh, okay, Marie Kondo. She didn't ask me to help in any other way except to shove the barfy things in my washing machine, and didn't accept my offer to fetch supplies for her. Fortunately, I didn't catch the virus and was able to deal with my dog's hospitalization without further complications and go to work as usual. My ex-partner did catch the virus and thus spent most of this week either looking after sick kids or being sick herself.
That sucks.
We spent quite a lot of time talking for the first couple of days, but she seemed less talkative with me quite quickly. I did go to visit her outside her house, keeping a safe distance like we used to have to do with COVID, and brought her flowers. During this conversation, she told me she'd asked her ex-husband to bring supplies to her instead, and she seemed quite angry with me.
Well, I think that's kind of unfair because it doesn't seem like OP was against bringing supplies. It was just taking care of her kids and washing the sheets.
Yeah. Imagine she's actually just mad because he brought like the wrong flowers.
Yeah, he's like, these are terrible flowers.
After she recovered, she no longer seemed to be happy with me or want to see me much at all. And her previous talk of going on a short vacation together or working on fixing our problems stopped. She seemed unhappy that I hadn't helped her more with her sick kids. I convinced her to attend a session with our relationship therapist to discuss it. My ex confirmed that she was upset with me for not helping with her kids. I asked her if she expected me to go into her house and stay there to help with her kids, knowing that this would mean I would almost certainly catch the virus myself, and she agreed with this. At no point had she asked me to do this. It seems she just expected me to offer or to just do it. With our therapist listening, I tried to understand why she felt this way. I asked her if she would expect me to expose myself to the virus if I had kids, and she said no. I reminded her of my dog's hospital appointment and that I don't get paid if I'm sick, and she basically just shrugged and said I could get another appointment for my dog. I asked her if she would come and look after me if I was sick with norovirus, and she didn't answer.
Yeah, because no one wants to get norovirus. I don't think like not wanting to be around a partner or a friend when they're very ill,
Violently
and
ill? Yeah.
contagiously ill is a red flag. I don't think that's a red flag.
No.
I just don't want to get sick.
So she didn't answer when I pressed her on that. I pointed out that if I went in and got sick, I wouldn't be able to help much with her kids.
Exactly.
And it would be one more person creating more laundry in her house.
It's just more barf on the sheets, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everyone's got norovirus. The sheets are all covered with barf. Another David Coffey.
And Christmas was ruined.
Christmas is canceled.
The conversation went like this, but was inconclusive. My therapist didn't comment during the session, but I asked her in an individual session later if she thought my ex-partner's expectations were reasonable. She immediately said no. The therapist is very supportive and understanding of both of us. She's pretty amazing, really, so she wasn't being critical of my ex-partner when she said this. She was just helping me have some perspective. And we want to help you have some perspective every weekday at 3 p.m. PST when we go live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. All you got to do is tap on our profile on any one of those platforms, and you're in the live. We might even be live right now. So go check on that right after this, because we're going to collect our thoughts. Honestly, it feels like OP wants his ex-partner back way more than the ex wants OP back.
Well, yeah, it seems like she's kind of like, she's like, whatever. You didn't want to be there when I had norovirus, so if you can't handle me when I have norovirus, you don't deserve me when I don't.
Oh, well, yeah. That's, and I've always said that.
Mhm.
If you can't handle me at my barfy disease, you
Mhm.
don't deserve me at my not barfy, not diseased.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe the wife sounds a little manipulating.
A little manipulative.
Because like, one, she's trying to like strong arm you into like she doesn't care about your dog. She doesn't care about that. And then as soon as you were like, well, would you do any of this for me? She just went
Like,
dead silent. Like,
no.
I
Actually, I do have a question because based on the title, are they together?
No.
They're
They're
exes.
ex. Yeah, they're not together.
I forgot
These are
about
not
that.
partners.
I
They are
forgot about that. That's
ex-partners.
insane.
And she has another ex-husband in the
Oh,
story
who
also didn't. Yeah.
And these aren't even his kids?
I don't think they're his kids. No.
What?
No. Yeah.
I'm sorry, they're ex-partners. These aren't his kids. and he's... Why are they even going to therapy? They must be somewhat his kids.
Or maybe
This
they
is
don't even
crazy.
like it. Some people just don't know how to cut things off.
Yeah.
It's like
that's
some people just
insane.
let things like tail and trail off into eternity. And it's like, Clearly,
wait,
this
yeah.
person doesn't actually value you outside of what you are just able to provide for them at any given moment.
Yeah.
And they probably just I would bet that the ex-wife or the ex-partner viewed going on a little getaway with you as a
Yeah.
way to make her other ex jealous. Let's finish this story. Again today, although my ex-partner and I are friendly again, she told me straight that things are different between us because I didn't help her. And she noted that while we aren't together, it doesn't stop her feeling like I should have helped her more, and she's not interested in seeing if we can make things work anymore. I almost don't know how to feel. It's very stressful. Am I missing anything here? Am I the a-hole? No.
No,
You are
don't.
not.
You're only the a-hole if you try and get back together with her. Why?
Yeah.
She's trying to make you take care of kids that are one, not yours, and also you're not together.
Yeah. Here's the update. Just wanted to say thank you for all the replies. I haven't had time to read them all in detail, but will digest them over the next day or two. I can see the most consistent theme, though, and I guess I needed to hear that. I'm feeling very sad right now, but I'll come back and comment further if I get a chance. Thanks again. Wait, what consistent theme is he talking about?
But that is the end of that story.